Okay, how many people are here? Looks like we're almost full, yeah? Are you like sitting with your close friends or sitting in your previous group? So you are totally mixed up. See, I'm not very convincing. We are all like halfway, that kind of thing. Yeah, I tell you before, when I was in Microsoft, I played a lot of games. You guys play games? What sort of games? Okay, what game you play now? No phone already. My games are very old. Ever heard of World Cyber Games Challenge? WCG?
Yeah.
My friends and I brought WCG to Malaysia again. We had the first WCG in Mid Valley, and then we had massive games, competition, and then we discovered something very interesting between girls and guys.
What's up? Really?
Yeah, we discovered that the girls are actually better than the guys. That was ridiculous, okay, because we had Counter-Strike tournament 5-on-5, and the girls wiped out the guys' team in less than 5 minutes. It was just across all over. And then we gave the girls a bunch of flowers and chocolates. And the guys went to Korea. Not fair. Yeah, because at that time, right, there was no category for girls, only guys, so very sexist at that time. But today is a whole different ballgame, and I don't know whether WCG is still continuing. I remember having lots of fun in Microsoft at the time. And actually, a lot of things that I was told to you, I've been working for a very, very long time, so it wasn't something that happened immediately like that. I've been working since I was a student when I came up to KL. And I've done everything that you can, not everything, but a lot of things that you can possibly imagine. From taking care of RV and Ken dolls in supermarkets, to sitting in front of the counter in Australia, managing large queues of people. Yeah, so all these things were just experiences. And I think that over the years, the experiences all have built up. So I want to encourage all of you. I've got a very, very short time with you until about lunchtime, and Sheila's going to come in, another very, very fantastic lady, very fun lady. I just want to encourage you all to pursue experiences in life. Go out there and do things. Don't wait for things to come for you. Don't wait for jobs to come. Yeah, if you're waiting for a job, I heard some of you, how many of you waiting for a job? Looking for a job, waiting for a job. Oh, very interesting. You know what? Go lah, make your own job. Why you wait for a job, Yeah, go and do your own thing, go get things running. I mean, there are heaps of stuff that you can get yourself involved in. And who says that you really need to know what you're doing before you do it? I started a catering business in Perth without knowing how to cook.
Then how does it work?
Yeah, because I saw one auntie, right? I used to like exploit her. Sorry, not exploit. We used to, student right? Save money, so we go and eat, and then it was like pay $6, eat all you can. $6, eat all you can, but you can only put it on a plate. So my friends and I became professional at how to make the plate very big. So, and we would only take one dish each, Malaysian and Singaporean, right? So we used to do this like the Mount Everest and our kids. One person would take the meat, take the vegetable. Every time we went there, she would give us the evil eye. You won't come again. That kind of thing. Yeah, so we used to tally up really, really high. And then one day we were eating, and I asked my friend, like, hey, what do you think she does now? I mean, like, now it's lunchtime, right? I don't think she opens, like, what do you think she does? And they're like all guessing. I said, y'all guess what? I go and ask her. So I asked her, and she said nothing. She doesn't do anything in the afternoon. This is Australia. Australia, like, very chill. I said, oh, we don't do anything now. Can you cook for me? I said, yeah, no. And then, ta-da, catering business started. Yeah, my first employee, I didn't employ her. I just pay her what she wants, and then she gives me what I want. And then I charge the students what I want, and the students pay me what they can. Alright, anyway, so long working history is not that important. What's more important is that you really, really go for experiences. And I'm telling you this just in case I forget to tell you this later on, because we have a very short time together. Right? So you know what? I'm not convinced that you're actually sitting with your friends and all that. I'm going to do something for me. You know how to play this game, like 1, 2 juice or 2 soap. Yeah. So what are you familiar with? You familiar with paper, scissors, stone or wood? Yeah. Paper is paper, scissors, stone. So this paper, right? Then this is the scissors, right? Okay, and then the stone. So which one wins which one? Paper wins. No, scissors win paper. Paper wins scissors. Scissors win paper, okay? Scissors win paper, alright? Stone? Win scissors, and paper win the stone. Okay, so we're all clear with that, right? Very good. So, no, paper, scissors, stone, paper, one. But you're all going to be good. Alright, so I want you to play a game for me, alright? So after this, you don't need any of your books, you don't need your bags, so take everything, put it away, and you probably need a pen or a marker pen, that's all you need. And I want everybody to, wait, relax. I'm going to get all of you to stand up. And then you're going to go around and do combat with each other. Paper, scissors, stone combat. Everybody understand? Paper, scissors, stone combat. But you only got one chance, you know. One chance only. And you're going to be progressing up the evolution ladder. Right? So, first of all of you will start off as an egg or telur. Can you all see red?
Yes.
Okay, let me do this. So all of you start off as an egg. So how do you suppose an egg looks like? You're an egg. It's round, right? So you're going to walk around like that, or you're an egg. You walk around like that. Walk around like that. So egg can only fight with egg, okay? You play before or not? Some of you know, some don't know. So you meet an egg, let's say both of you meet an egg. Your egg and the other egg, right? So egg, okay, fight. 1, 2, jump! If you win, you become a chick. Sorry guys, I mean, you're all chicks here, right? Okay, so you become a chick lah. Alright, so you're egg, you win, you become a chick. If you lose, you remain an egg. Don't worry, you won't become the egg lah. Okay, yeah, you remain an egg, alright? So if you lose, you continue to look around for another egg lah. Do you get that? Okay, so let's say you become a chick. So how's the chick? So chick they are trying to fly, they haven't fly yet, right? So chick is like that. So you must look around like that and you look for chick. Yeah, you got the idea, right? So then when you meet a chick, then what do? Chick war. Okay, so you fight. If you win, you become a chicken. Very good. You become a chicken. So chicken, how chicken usually? Chicken does. So you go around like that, okay? So chicken, egg must do with Gaia, you know. If you know Gaia, come over here, you never will. Okay, so you go around and you look for another chicken. And if you win the chicken war, then you become a KFC. Then you become KFC. Okay? You become a fried chicken. When you're fried chicken, you can sit down. Understand? When you're fried chicken, you can sit down. And here are the rules. Only fried chickens are allowed to sit down. Because you are served on the table, right? So when you become a fried chicken, you sit down, you can choose any table to sit on, but you have to start from beside first. You can choose any table you want, but you have to start from beside first. Alright, when you have 5 people on this table, then you move to this table. When there are 5 people on this table, then you have to sit on this table. And then when there are 5, you have to sit here. And then when there are 5, then you have to sit here. And when there are 5 all tables, then you can start from the beginning again. Everybody clear? Are you ready to do combat? Yeah, I'm sorry to do that music, but if you're ready to do combat, keep your book, keep your bags, everybody stand up. Ready your egg position. Fried chicken, quickly! Go on, fried chicken! Chick! Come on! Why no KFC? So long! Oh, KFC! Come on, sit down! KFC! Up! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5! Go, you gotta sit there! Oh, this table! KFC on this table! KFC! No, KFC here! Come on, KFC here! KFC, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5! Full! This table! Okay, full! This table! Fried chicken's on this table, come on! Yeah! Fried chicken! Okay, fried chicken's here, come on! Come on, fried chicken! Here. Fried chicken, 1, 2 fried chickens, come on! Another 3 more! 3 more fried chicken. Come on, cheer them on. No more already, Okay, come on. Yes, you may sit here. So you guys are the latest to get. Just kidding. This? What happened? You have to start. Oh. I think now you are ready to start. Okay, fantastic. Well done. Like I said, you won't need your manuals. You can put it aside and you won't need your bags. But you probably need your mobile phone. Oh yeah, because notes are easily pasted all around the group, so you can go around and send pictures of the notes and stuff like that. Okay, great. So, what are we here for? Set topic. Reason thinking and problem solving. I see, okay. Look, there's only 4 people here. So much toilet. Alright, so let's find out why you want to learn this first. Besides the fact that you have been rostered in to learn this according to the schedule. Yeah, right. I think it's probably interesting to hear from you why you think this topic is interesting. But I'm not going to ask you to tell me. I'm going to ask you guys to. Do we have flip chart paper behind? The flip chart paper is cut. I saw some cardboards. Yeah. Okay, if not, I have a lot of flip chart paper here. We're looking over here. Right? And I'm going to ask you to come grab one piece, and I'm going to give you 5 minutes. You're going to write down as many reasons as possible why you want to learn this. Okay, wait a minute. Yeah. This is what I want you to do. Do you have a leader? Team leader. Do you have a team leader on your table? Not yet. So we need to have a team leader for every table. Wait. Let's be democratic about it. Right? On the count of 3, you will point to the most attractive person on the table. Are you ready? Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Most attractive people in the room. What do you need to do now? Your friends just wanted you as the most. Yeah, you need to. Thank you. I think I'm so handsome. I'm serious. Thank your friends. Come on. Yeah, thank you. Here's your first lesson in confidence. When people come up to you and say, you're very beautiful, you're very pretty, you're very handsome, what do you say? Thank you! Right? Don't be like, look, Asian, oh no lah, actually I'm not very pretty lah. Yeah, this knows I'm not. Don't do that. Just say thank you, receive it, enjoy it. Alright? Okay, so if you're a team leader now, this is like the most powerful person in your group. Your team leader can ask you to do anything within the boundaries of moral yeah. Okay, so I want you to before the this is what I want you to tell me. Not why you want to learn it. I want you to tell me this term here. Have you heard of the new radio station called VFM?
No.
No. Okay, so it's very simple. It's called the What's in It For Me station. What's in it for who? Why? Why do you know what's in it for you? Do you think humans are selfish people? Yes. In general, we can see that everywhere, right? So, if you do something and you don't know how you're going to benefit, why should you do it? Correct? Any of you ask this question, why should I attend this program? Why should I be here? For what I want to learn this topic? Alright now, so I need you to tell me how you want to benefit or what's in it for you to learn a topic like what's that? Thinking, critical thinking, problem solving techniques. You get that? So tell me how you're going to benefit from it. Don't give me textbook answer, just tell me personally inside here what you feel. Alright? So 5 minutes, fill that up. You must give me at least 1 point for every person on the table. So if you got 6 people, you've got to have at least 6 points inside there. Alright, your time starts now. Go!
So, problem solving skills is to solve problems. And what is your benefit? What is the benefit of it?
Benefit?
Yes, for you. For you.
Make it big so people can see it.
I think try this.
Okay, I try and play music on my laptop.
You know, this meeting. That's me atmosphere, I think. Atmosphere keadaan sekeliling. Ya. BHE.
Relax. Okay.
Okay, the third one.
I want to stay focused on the ticket. I want to.
Okay, say it again.
Too long. Slowly, yeah.
I hope you've got at least the minimum number on the table. And time's up! Okay, stop. Alright, put in the last word that you can. Have you written down the last thing? Okay, very good. I want you to paste it up somewhere. Let's see. Those shiny boards look very tempting. Okay lah, shall we cover up those boards? Yeah, take your notes and go paste it on. Don't damage the board. Just looks like good things to paste as well. So you can go ahead and paste it there, and you can move the paper aside because those are your notes, right? So everybody go ahead and paste it there now on the board side.
Yes, please.
But don't just paste. I want you to read what other people have written down as well. Alright, so go. Paste it and read what other people have written down. We need tape. Yes. Come in.
Yes, please.
Okay. Everybody stay here. You don't know what it is here. Now you can also ask. Okay, what's that mean? I see you have to twist your head left, right, center. I don't think it's any point for you to remember lots of theory. Maybe it's better if you just learn how to apply things, how to make things happen, that's all.
Yes.
Alright, because too much theory, what happens? You know, you see that people learn a lot, study a lot, learn until like PhD, PhD, right? Permanent hit damage kind of thing. Yeah, but they learn really like up there. And then what happens? When they start learning so many things, what happens? Breakdown. Let's say they successfully do it. Do you see them going out there and doing a lot of things in the world?
No.
Really getting into action?
No. Too busy
So,
theorizing.
I want you to understand something here. If you go for too much theory and you feel your head with lots of theory, chances of you taking action is going to become lower. Yeah, it's best to learn and then you do straight away. Because the person that does, the person that goes into action, will get more results than the one who spends their time just studying and reading stuff. So I don't want to give you plenty of notes. I just want to give you what will work because, like I said, our time is not that long today. I want to ask you, after you have read the stuff that people have written up there, do you find it interesting? Yes. Lots of different reasons, right now. I think maybe the question was slightly different. Some of you are answering why you are here in this program. Is that right? Yeah. So actually, I wanted you all to give me reasons. Why would you want to learn about critical thinking and problem solving? For what? So some of you did put answers like that. Now, I didn't exactly go and read through everything, yeah? But I've got a few reasons of my own. Just two actually. I'll just give you two good reasons. Two selfish reasons why I think this topic is very interesting. And I hope that if you are engaged enough in this topic, you wouldn't need to actually attend the workshop here. As in, like, even though we only have a few hours together, even if I can't teach you everything, you will actually go out there and learn it yourself. Does it make sense to you? Yeah. So, before I say that, I want to find out how many teams here you gave me more than your members in terms of points. Anybody? Oh, so your team had how many? More. What? But you have 6 people. You just come, but you have 5 as well. So you give me 5, isn't it? 6. Oh, so you have 5 and you give me 6. Alright, very good. So, for those of you who gave me more, can we all give them a round of applause? Principles for success in the world is not very, very difficult. One of the very simplest things that I can share with you right now is always give a little bit more. Because if let's say you go out there and you work, and people say, do A to C for me, and you do A to C, right? What does that mean? I ask you to do A to C, you do A to C. What does that mean? Is it expected that you should do A to C? Yes. Is it any big surprise that you did A to C? Am I impressed that you did A to C? Chances are that it's not. But if you did A to B, what happened? After A to B, you're right. You get what I'm saying here? So if you give less than what people ask you to do, sometimes it's a little bit of an under-delivery. But if you give them what they ask you to do, then that's expected of you. And if you want to stand out outside that, you need to give more. Stand out a bit more. Because I know people come out from university, we think we are great. I also thought I was great when I came out. Then I joined the workforce, and I realized that a lot of other people think they are very great. So it's like everybody thinks they are very great. And so in order to stand out, you have to give a bit more. Give more than what people expect, or over more than what is expected. That really counts. Yeah, so I really learned it from all of you for that. And remember, for the rest of this program, it's the same thing. Give more than what is asked from you. Don't be satisfied by giving them exactly just like that only. Right? If they ask for 1 to 5, give 6, give 7, give 8. Right? Seldom you get faulted for giving more. Unless you're giving away something that's not yours. Your company, you give the money away for free. Yeah, that's different, Yeah, but nevertheless, you will still see people doing that. Now, I don't know about everything that's written down there, unless I stand there and read through everything. But I did see a few interesting things which probably jives with what I think is really important about learning to think and learning how to solve problems. Now, I say learning to think, not really critical thinking, because if you are too critical in your thinking, what do you become? You become crazy. You become a critic, isn't it? Because you're critical, right now. Yeah, how many of you like to mix around people who are very critical? You like that? So don't make the mistake of becoming a critical person because of critical thinking. I'd rather just leave it open and say that really the important thing is to learn to put your 3 fingers up and put it in your head and look at your friend and say, think! So I'm giving you a simple. The next time you realize that your friend is not thinking, you don't have to say, hey, think like just like and you get there, right? So thinking and learning to solve problems. And as was mentioned just now, when we go out into the workplace, into the employment field, we find that these 2 areas are extremely lacking. Not to say that people don't think, but when they think, they take the lazy way out. They just do what's very simple. They don't want to pursue more than that. Right? So actually thinking skills and learning how to solve problems, which is very, very closely related, is a field that is, or is a topic that is in low supply out there in the market. So did you all learn economics in school or in university? You're familiar with supply-demand theory? Very, very easy, right? This is actually logical, right? High demand, low supply, what happened? Price goes up. And the other one is true. Low demand, high supply, price goes down, isn't it? So if these 2 skill sets is in low supply in the market and the demand is high, what happens? You are more valuable to the organization. So this is one very, very good reason why I want you all to pick this skill up in terms of thinking skills and learning how to solve problems. Because it is not something that is, even though it looks obvious, but it's not something that is obvious outside there. Proper structured skills when it comes to this field. So first thing is that you become a more valued asset, or there's a higher demand for your services out there in the marketplace. Is that a good reason for you to learn? Yeah, I'll give you another reason though. You can make a lot of money. You like money? I like money. How do I know you can make a lot of money with this topic? Because I make money with this topic. How did this topic come about? There was a request and we created this thing based on logic, which we are also practicing all the time. It's just that we put it in the structured format. And after that I realized that hey, there's a lot of demand for it. A lot of companies request it. And I realized that hey, this is just pure supply-demand theory. So keep these things in mind. Right? Everything you learn is connected. Nothing is by itself. Right? Supply-demand applies in everywhere you go, every field you work in. In fact, I want to share with you a quick story of supply-demand. When I was in Form 5, my father pressured me to ask me, what do you want to study, what do you want to study, what do you want to study. He kept asking me this question, and I didn't know what to tell him. So I said finally, just to, like, shh. You get it? So I said accountant. Yeah, and then it's like, okay, good. Yeah, because I bet you if I said, I want to become a psychologist, I want to become some other unknown field, like a geologist or something, you'll probably go like, no. Yeah, because in Malaysia, right, there are a few acceptable professions, like what? Engineer, lawyer, doctor. Why all these acceptable professions? Because, come on, be honest here, why? More money, right? Correct, right? And so everybody thinks like that, right? Yeah, so I know I'm sharing with you some stuff that we not actually have to do anything, but I thought it's great, right, that we get this chance to interact. Yeah, and I want to tell you that she's just a problem. See, when I did accounting, and my father said go do accounting, I did that. But guess what? Another million over people did accounting also. Because they all think the same, right? Yeah, so then when we all came out, there were like million plus of us, accountants, fresh out, looking for jobs in the same companies. Get it? So what happened to the high income earning potential that the job is supposed to give? Because there's a huge supply. See, what happened was that in the past, some of these professions made a lot of money because the supply was low. The demand for the thing was there. But when everybody chased after the same thing, suddenly you have a huge supply and the demand is still the same or drop. And so that's why the salary keep dropping. I remember those days in Price when we resigned from our job. See, the auditors, low-paid auditors, we would gang together and resign because we say, let's go together. So one time we had what we call rombongan. You know, like a tour group, 20, 30 of us will resign one time. And we thought, okay, we're teaching them a lesson. But guess what? We see like 40 or 50 new joiners coming in. We're like, oh, thanks for your service, bye. We wait for the new people to come in. So here's another principle when it comes to success in life. Don't do what everybody does. Go the opposite direction. Yeah, go for the things that are less seen or less supply of. And so it's the same thing with these two skill sets here. They are in low supply, but the demand is high. And do we have problems? Do we have problems in the world? A lot, isn't it? Which doesn't seem to be getting solved. So recognize that these two skills inside here is a growing industry, it's a growing field. And the best part is you don't really need to go to university to learn this. It's something that you can develop on your own, thinking and learning how to solve problems. In fact, I want to share with you something here. Are you required to create presentations or to teach stuff? Do you think that you'll be asked to do this in the later part of the program? Yes or no? So do you have challenges where you have to create stuff like that? You sort of like crack your head very hard how to make some of these presentations or that. Would it be useful if I share with you a method, like really quick, that will allow you to, just step up a presentation or make a proposal just like that? Yes. Short time? Okay, great. So this is something you can find on the internet. It's called the format system. You see? Alright, it's called format. Very simple. Go to the internet, learn about it. It's called format. And format really just tells us that English good, right? Tells us that people in the world more or less can be divided into 4 different categories. And when you are doing presentations, or you want to teach something, or you want to share something, it is best to address the needs of every category of people. Does it make sense? So that people don't feel left out. And the biggest group of people in the world consists of people that like to ask. How many of you are like that? If you are asked to do something, you ask why, isn't it? Yeah, and how important is the why to you? Quite important, Let's say you ask why, why am I doing this? I say, because I said. Then what happens? What's your motivation? High? Really high motivation? Sometimes pretty low, right? Do you do? Depends who asks you. You probably might do it, but the motivation will be low. Get that? So the first thing that you must always do, whether you do a presentation or you address the crowd or anything, and this is all anyone to thinking skill, is always come up with the why first. In order to come up with the why, you need to understand the people that you're dealing with. Right here, I ask you to come up with why. And do you know that the more reasons you have, the stronger the reasons you have, the more engaged you will be to learn this topic. If it's that important, do you even need to attend workshop to learn? Do you need to attend workshop to learn how to use Facebook? No, right? Because it's like very important. Or you don't use Facebook now, you use something else already. You still use Facebook? Yeah, so you see, nobody will teach that. My dad learned how to use the internet on his own. Before I taught him how to use, I tried to teach him but that was very stressful. But he learned to use the internet on his own because he got interested in politics. And internet is like full of stuff to do with politics. So he just sort of like self-taught himself on his own. addresses, backdoor entrance to some websites that are blocked, and I'm like, oh my god, you know more than you know more than me. Yeah? So remember, always establish the why first in whatever you do. For yourself and when you are dealing with groups of people. The why is super duper important. You know what? If I told you that next week, where's the next workshop? Next Saturday. If next Saturday, all of you have to stand up here and teach a new group of people what I'm teaching you now, what will happen? I didn't bring any notes. I didn't bring any slides. What will happen? What will you do? I mean, I'm here today. Sheila will be here later. What will you do? Do you think you would come and look for us, try and get as much as you can from us? Because next week you will teach it. Will you try and get my slides if I have any slides? Will you try and get my notes? Will you do that? If you have to teach it next week, yes or no? Yes. You understand? So if the why is strong enough, you will go out there and do it. You will just go out there and get it. So make sure your whys are strong when you do things. Sometimes people can't tell you why, you come up with the why yourself. And when you deal with people outside there, always establish the why first. In presentations, when you're doing for this group, for this entire workshop series, establish the why. Why is it important? Certain things are important. Why is some information important? What's in it for them? How will people benefit? How will they benefit? This is a big question. In sales, when salesmen are selling stuff, we always teach them to sell benefit, not sell features. You know the difference between benefit and features? Feature is like this quad-core processor. Yeah, feature is like it's got polyphonic ringtone down. There's nothing really. It's a stereo. The handphone is waterproof. That's features lah. Now, if it's a benefit, you got children. Do they pee on your phone? If they pee on this phone, it will remain. You know, nothing will happen to this phone. Now that's a benefit. Yeah, as your kid throw up, if they drop your phone, this phone is just okay. You know your previous phone died because your kid just that's a benefit. Yeah. So understand the difference between benefit and feature. So if you establish the benefits for people, it's a strong tool for them. The second thing, the first biggest group, why? Second biggest group, what? The group of people that ask what. So once you have established the why, then you move to the what, which is giving people information. This one I want to find out. Do you know friends who learn stuff, right, and they get super excited about it, but then when you ask them, so what? They're like, I don't know, it's just exciting. Do you know friends like that? Okay, these are usually the, what we call information people. So they are interested to learn, they may not know why they're learning it. So make sure that you always, nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying that they form the second largest group of people in the world. So always provide information after you establish the why, not before. This is very, very important. The third group of people are people who say, hey, don't talk so much. Let's do it. That's right. So these are what we call the how people. The hows. So in any presentation, any workshop, any topic that you want to get into a group of people, always establish the how. How do you establish the how? Let's do, right? So there must be some activity. There has to be a hands-on experience with something. So I tend to put experience here, an experience of it. Experience. Right? Experience is very, very important. Experience can be done in a few ways. One, you actually make them do it. You take them through the process. Two, you give them step-by-step instructions. You ever seen that? Step one, do this. Step two, do that. Just follow only. Another idea, you can use videos like YouTube and all that. So you want to teach your friend how to bake a cake. Yeah? You tell them why it's important to bake a cake. They need to know that. Whether it stresses them or they can make money. You explain to them about the cake. Oh, this cake is a long history, blah, blah, blah. Then, you give them a video showing them how to make a cake so they get an experience of it. You get that? So this is really about giving people an experience. Now, if you hit these three groups here, you've got most audiences engaged already. Make sense or not? So then there's one more group. This one interesting one. These are people who, when you ask any questions, no question, right? But then, when the whole workshop ends, what happened? Go on. You see that happening, right? And then the kind of question they ask is usually not like so direct. It's like, what if? What if? Right? So we call the what if group. You know people who do that? They have a lot of what if. It may not be realistic, but it's just a what if, right? Yeah. So listen, it's very, very important. This group of people, they like questions. That's right. They like to ask questions. So make sure in any workshop, presentation, or topic that you are doing to a group of people, make sure that you must have a time of Q&A, question and answer, to satisfy them. If you satisfy all the 4 groups, then we say that you did a good job. Because all of them come away feeling happy that they were at least acknowledged in the presentation. Does it make sense to you so far? Yes. Can do not? Very easy, right? It's just any topic at all, just do the why, the what, the how, and then the what if. So what if you open up time for questions? What happens if you ask any question and then what happens? Total silence, right? So how? Very good. You must come out with a Q&A. So always prepare questions and answers on your own. So that when you ask a group, they cannot give you a question, you ask them a question. And make sure you have the answer, of course. If you ask a question, no answer, then very difficult, right? So make sure you have the answer. The other option you can do is you can also plunge people into the group. Like tell your friend, if you don't know, when I ask this question, you give this answer, okay? Or you give your friend a question, if nobody asks a question, then you ask this question. Right? You realize that sometimes it gets the ball rolling, one person just asks and then everybody comes in. Yeah, okay, so this is got actually nothing much to do with thinking and problem solving. I thought it's a very, very useful system to pick up. Any questions about this? Yes?
Just now you say it's very important to establish something, number 3, and then catch it.
Which one? Why? Number 3. Establish how. That means, actually what I'm going to say is that make sure you have it up. Establish the why, then you establish the what, then you establish the how, and then you open the time for questions. So make sure you cover all the 4 categories. In fact, you can go back and review some of your past presentations and see if you have hit all the 4 areas. So again, how can be anything experiential? If you're talking about food, give people the food to taste, or put a smell out there for them to experience it. So as long as you keep all 4 categories, it makes sense then. Great? Yeah. So I only got one rule in my workshop. Ask questions. Ask questions. If you want to learn, you're going to ask. Because in Malaysia, as we mentioned before, we're not really encouraged to ask a lot of questions. So ask questions. The more you ask, the more you get out of people like myself. I always tell my wife, yes, I'm married. I always tell my wife that I can't read your mind. So tell me what you want. And she said, I want a diamond ring. Okay. Alright, great. Grab a blank sheet of paper. Let's talk about thinking first. I want to see how you think. Alright, I want to see how you think. So I'm going to read you a story, and I want you to listen to the story. Alright, and then after that I'm going to ask you a question. Can This story is not Once Upon a Time. It is not about this table. Okay. Better use the mic. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. This story is called Once Upon a Time. And you ready? Okay, listen up. Once upon a time, there was a great city called Geelong that stood beside a lake in the kingdom of Bang. Get it? Okay, repeat one more time. Once upon a time, there was a great city called Geelong that stood beside a lake in the kingdom of Bang. In the center of the city was a castle where the king lived with his only daughter, Christina. The king could no longer walk, but he was often seen being pushed around the city in a white wheelchair by his servants. Christina was a very popular princess, happy and always willing to help other people. The people of Bang often said that she would make a very, very, very good queen. Now, it so happened that as well as the king, his daughter, and all of his loyal subjects, the people living in the land, there lived in the kingdom of Bang 2 witches. There is Groga, an ugly and disfigured witch, and she lived on the other side of the lake in a wet cave, a dark and wet cave. And then there is Gwendolyn, a beautiful witch that wore a gown that sparkled like the light of 1,000 crystals. She lived in a house to the west. On the 10th anniversary of Groga's arrival, the king was pushed onto the balcony where he addressed all of the people gathered below. Who will get rid
of my arch-enemy Groga? He asked. Many brave men have gone on this mission before, but none of those sent have ever returned. Do any of you have the courage to complete this mission? The crowd included knights from all of the surrounding lands. But only one person in the crowd spoke up, a stranger who arrived the day before. I will kill her, said the stranger, in return for your crown. The king replied, that is too much to ask, but I will give you half of all the gold in the city treasury if you get rid of her for me. The stranger accepted the offer and went to see the beautiful Gwendoline. Gwendoline was impressed by the stranger's bravery, and she agreed to help in return for a share of the gold, of course. So she went into another room and mixed a strange potion, and she poured this potion into a small green bottle. This will give you the strength of 10 men, she said, giving the potion to the stranger. The stranger traveled from Gwendoline's house to the wet and dark caves on the opposite side of the lake, where Groga, who had seen the stranger coming in her crystal ball, was waiting. So, you have come as many other men before you have, seeking the king's favor, and then they fought, and they fought, and they fought for many hours. But eventually, the witch was no match for the stranger. Tired and exhausted, she agreed to leave the kingdom forever. The stranger returned to the city to claim the promised reward. The end.
Oh, you're waiting for the princess and all that? Are you ready? Was it a simple story? Yes. Okay, easy, right? So I've got some questions for you, and I want you to do this. I want you to write on your paper 1 to 15. Write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, until 15. Okay, write it there. Write your name on top of the paper. I'm going to read out some statements for you. You are going to tell me whether it is true or false. Very easy. Okay, so put your name on the paper because we need to know who scored the highest point. 15 questions. Okay, let me make it a bit tasty for you. If you score 15 over 15, I will give you 50 ringgit here on the spot. But you must score, and it must be correct. 15 over 15, not 15 over 15 wrong. Okay, are you ready? Alright, this is, you don't have to discuss this, but it's up to you. Okay, question number 1, or statement number 1. The city was called Bum. Number 1, the city was called Bum. Number 2, the city was ruled by an old king who could no longer walk. The city was ruled by an old king who could no longer walk. Number 3, the castle was in the center of the city. The castle was in the center of the city. Number 4, Groga was a wicked witch who lived in a cave on the other side of the lake. Groga was a wicked witch who lived in a cave on the other side of the lake. Number 5, Princess Christina was very beautiful. Princess Christina was very beautiful. Number 6, the stranger was a knight from far away. The stranger was a knight from far away. Number 7, the stranger wanted to be made king in return for killing Groga. The stranger wanted to be made king in return for killing Groga. Number 8, the king offered the stranger a great fortune instead. The king offered the stranger a great fortune instead. Number 9, a good witch lived to the west of the city. Talking about Gwendoline now. A good witch lived to the west of the city. Number 10, the stranger agreed to give Gwendoline half of his gold if she helped him. The stranger agreed to give Gwendoline half of his gold if she helped him. Number 11, Gwendoline mixed a potion which she poured into a green bottle. Gwendoline mixed a potion which she poured into a green bottle. Number 12, the stranger rode from Gwendoline's house to Groga's cave. The stranger rode from Gwendoline's house to Groga's cave. Number 13, Groga had killed many men before. Groga had killed many men before. Number 14, Groga's magic was no match for the stranger. Groga's magic was no match for a stranger. And number 15, the stranger used the magic potion to defeat Groga. The stranger used the magic potion to defeat Groga. Are you ready for the moment of truth? Please change paper with your friend.
Pass your paper to the person on your right. Yes. Question number 3. Okay. I have a request to repeat question number 3. Question number 3 is, the castle was in the center of the city. The castle was in the center of the city. Please exchange your paper with your friend. You're going to mark your friend's paper, yeah? Prize money is 50 ringgit for the one that scores. Who score? 50 no, 50 correct. Are you ready? Number 1, the city was called Bang. True or false? False! It's called Gelam. Ah, man, okay. There are some people cannot get ready. Alright, number 2. The city was ruled by an old king who could no longer walk. True or false?
Never say.
Really?
False.
Did I say that the king was old?
False.
I didn't say that. What makes you think that the king was old, huh? False! Number 3. The castle was in the center of the city. True or false?
False. Beside the lake.
True! It is in the center of the city. Oh boy. Number 4. Groga was a wicked witch who lived in a cave on the other side of the lake.
Yes.
Huh? False! Why? Groga, why? Did I say that she's evil, wicked, bad?
No.
So why you so bad? I know why. Because she's ugly. And she like to live in a dark and wet cave. That's why she's evil, right? So bad, y'all. Stereotyping. How can you do like that? No, I never said that she's evil. Okay. Number 5. Princess Christina was very beautiful. I never said that she's beautiful. I did not say that. I said she's very popular and she's always happy. And she, people say she will be a good queen. Number 6. The stranger was a knight from far away. True or false? False. You have no idea, right? It's just a stranger, isn't it? Okay. Number 7. The stranger wanted to be made king in return for killing Groga. True or false? Why do you say it's true? Huh? Oh, they asked for the crown. But how do you know what the stranger wants to do with the crown? Just ask the crown, what? Aiyo, why your England is so good? Oh, what? He just wants the crown. Oh, wait, I have another question. How do you know the stranger is a man? See? If it's a woman, it cannot be king, what? Okay, right or not? You never watched enough Shrek, that's why. Okay. Number 7 is false, Yeah, for all you know, he wanted to sell the crown on eBay. Alright, anyway. Number 8. The king offered the stranger a great fortune. You say true or false?
False.
We got a little mixed reaction here. Why you say it's false?
It's how. It's not.
Yeah, so that's not great. Okay, I know lah. Sorry, bro. I know you are very rich, right, actually, so gold is not big enough. No, it's false, okay? How much gold is in the treasury? Hey, you have no idea, right? So you go inside there, the stranger goes back, the king opens up, oh, it's so sorry, we just ran out of gold. Oh, we only got 1 gold coin, can we do half, half for you? You have no idea how much gold is in the treasury. Number 9, a good witch lived to the west of the city. True or false?
False.
I lie.
East.
False! I never said that. Gwendoline is good. Number 10, the stranger agreed to give Gwendoline half of his gold if she helped him. True or false? False. A share. You know what, your friend come to you? Let's share. What does your friend mean by share? 50-50? If your friend give you 1%, he keep 99%, is it share? He's still sharing, right? So please be careful, yeah? Never say you're going to give half, right? Number 10 is false. Number 11, Gwendoline mixed the potion, which she poured into a green bottle. True or false? Yes. True! Oh my gosh, that's not the children's fairy tale. What happened? Number 12, the stranger rode from Gwendoline's house to Groga's cave. True or false? Yes. False! I never mentioned road. What are you thinking? Knight in shining armor riding a big nice white horse, right? Go and watch Cinderella. Yeah, how do you know? Maybe the stranger ninja, go under the water. Maybe the stranger teleported, Scotty beaming out. How do you know, right? But Groga already saw the person coming. Okay, so number 12 is false. We do not know how the stranger traveled. Number 13, Groga had killed many men before. True or false? How do you know the man died? Yeah, never come back means died. See? Maybe they were forced to marry her because they lost. Then again, if you think about it, the king gave you a command and you couldn't fulfill. Do you go back to the king? I'm so sorry, my lord. I failed to kill her. Okay, kill him. Yeah, so probably they never came back. We do not know what happened to them. Alright, number 14. Number 13 is false. Number 14, Groga's magic was no match for a stranger. True or false?
Yes.
False. Never talk about using magic when they fought. Number 15, the stranger used a magic potion to defeat Groga. False. No idea. Okay, please score your friend's paper. Score it. Wow. Give the results back to your friend. Whoa. Okay, first, let's find out if I lost any money. Who got 15 over 15 correct? Nobody. No, not yet. Okay, let's have a see. Who got 14 over 15? 13? 12? 11? And 10! Come on, 10! 10! Alright, who scored between 5 to 10 points? 5 to 10, between 5 to 10. Oh, give a round of applause. Yeah, man, that's tough. I'm not going to review your scores, but I just want to tell you that this exercise is specifically designed to do this. And it's designed to do this because one of the topics that we're talking about here is thinking. Alright, thinking. Of course, I don't have time here to teach you all the different techniques of thinking. So instead of teaching you, in fact, do I really need to teach you how to think? Grief. I mean, you should be able to think right on your own. Yeah. Of course, the question is what you think about all the time, which I think was already covered earlier on. And thinking about good stuff, positive stuff, the law of attraction, kind of stuff like that. Yeah. So we'll cover this. Yeah. But what I want to cover with you today here is what you need to watch out for when it comes to thinking. And this is a very, very big thing. So I want you to have a little table discussion on why you cannot score very high for this particular exercise, or what caused you not to be able to score high for this exercise. Alright, so just a discussion in the table. Do it now. Right, just 3 minutes discussion. Okay, stop. Let's hear it from all of you in your discussion. What will you say? Now, I know there are many reasons, right? I heard many reasons coming out. Didn't pay attention, lousy storyteller, never play enough. That's right, yeah. But you know what? You blame me, you can't say anything. Right? So, what would you say is the biggest challenge to doing well in this particular exercise? Stereotype thinking, which is actually what? Would you agree that assumption was the biggest issue? Yes. Assuming things? Yes. So I want to tell you something that when we talk about thinking, right, it's not a very difficult thing really. Of course, if you want to complicate it, you can go to university and study critical thinking, and they will give you all kinds of thinking methods, including the Cartesian logic and all that. But why would you want to do that when it's something so normal, so simple? Thinking, simply think, that's it. Right? Engage in thinking to develop the thinking. Or when you start to think, your biggest challenge when it comes to thinking, you have to watch out for assumptions. Alright? When you assume things, it reduces your ability to be able to think critically or to get information out. Some of you already know that the English language is a weird language. Now we say that when you assume too much, you see, makes an ass out of you and me. How many times have misunderstandings happened because of assumption? Or you thought your friend said something, but they didn't say that way, isn't it? Or you read something and you assume that they meant that by it, and then a whole war starts. Correct? Yeah, so recognize that assumption is the enemy of
thinking. But it's not a bad thing, of course. You cannot survive without being able to assume things. I'm not going to go into the theory of that. There is, of course, a theory behind why, as human beings, we assume because of the way we process information, the filters of that. I think that for usability purposes, we just need to understand that when we start to engage in thinking, we've got to watch out for assumptions. And how do you reduce the threat of assumptions?
To be open-minded.
Open-minded, what else? Open-minded is something that you must maintain, but the real skill behind it is actually asking questions. Right or not? So please get yourself into the mode of asking questions. This is not something that I teach you. It's something that you need to do. You need to do it. You need to. I mean, okay so anybody here do not ask questions? You need to learn. Okay, maybe a theory of asking question. In general, categories are what kind of questions are there? Open and closed. Okay, very good. We have the open versus the closed question. Alright, so what are open questions? What are they?
How people can elaborate more on the question. When you ask them something, then they can elaborate more.
Okay, so very easy to understand, isn't it? When you ask open question, people talk a lot. When you ask those questions, people talk very little. One syllable. You know what syllable? Or one word answer lah. One word answer. Make sense? So which is good, which is bad? That's a trick question. Neither, okay? Neither. There is a reason for open and there is a reason for closed, right? Both are also good. In general, if you want to get a lot of information, you ask open, make people talk some more. If you want to confirm or you want to shut people up, you ask closed question. Yeah, closed question is used to shut people up, you know that? Sometimes your friend talk a lot, it's like, my hand first. Then also you are saying this and this correct or not? Yes or no? Yes. And then this and this correct or not? Yes or no? Yes. Very good. We have nothing to say already lah. Yeah, so you can use that as well. But recognize that questioning skills is something that has to be developed over time as you practice it. And where's the best place to start? Anywhere lah. Anywhere you are. Doesn't have to be here. Yeah, get curious in your mind. Start asking questions. It's very sad that the education system doesn't encourage people to ask questions. You can reverse that. People in the workplace don't really ask many questions. So get out there and be daring enough to ask, especially if you don't know. But not just ask questions of people. Ask questions of yourself. Ask yourself questions. Why do I think like that? Is it true? What makes it true? You ask yourself questions all the time. The more questions you ask and you spend time thinking about the answers, the less the assumptions become. This gets confused? Alright, so this is something that you need to put into practice on your own. Not difficult at all. In case you're still not very sure, let me give you a few tools that you can use when you ask questions. This is what I call Mr. How and his 5 beautiful wives. You know, right? Mr. How has got 5 wives. How, what, where, why, when, who. You're going to add some more, but I think it's enough. How, what, where, when, who. Mr. How and his 5 beautiful wives. You can play around with this, but just get yourself into the mode of asking questions. Asking questions is one of the key ways to open up the mind. Yeah. In fact, I did study thinking, but my thinking expanded more when I began to ask a lot of questions. Any questions? Don't look at me. Look at your table. Ask your friends. Please. Ask your friends. Any questions about asking questions? Ask friends. asking question?
Open.
Any questions? About asking questions? Yes, question. Ah, 2 questions here. Okay, very good. Decide first. What are the good examples of? What are good examples of practicing questioning? Techniques? You just ask why. Ask how, what, where, why, when, who, you know? See, the key thing, why it's very difficult to teach topics like critical and creative thinking is because this is not something that is actually taught, this is something that is practiced. People who engage in it all the time tend to have a wider field of thought than people who don't. The brain is exactly like a muscle, the way it works. Use it, it will grow. Don't use it, it will, well, it doesn't really shrink. I mean, it's shrinking all the time, you know. Yeah, it doesn't really shrink. But if you really go into the research of how the brain works, you understand that the brain has a lot of neurons and then they form connections inside there. So what happens is whenever you think a lot or you ask a lot of questions, the connections span out and make more connections. The more connections you have, the faster you access information. The more connections you have, the faster you learn things. Because that's how memory works. The less connections you have, the less you will remember. The exact opposite happens. So if you look at old people, sometimes they suffer from diseases like Alzheimer's and all that. Is one of the possible causes, I'll just say possible, is that they perhaps have not used enough or they haven't engaged sufficient thought processes. You find that people who constantly are busy, even after they retire 60, 70, 80 years old, they're still doing a lot of stuff, business and all that. They tend to remain quite, what they call that, the mind remains quite sharp. Yeah, they continue to learn new things because the connections are constantly forming. You have to recognize that connections are constantly being broken all the time as well. So keep building those connections. And let's say you meet somebody for the first time, right? How well do you remember people the first time you meet them? First time you don't shake hand, name, you don't really remember them, right? But let's say you meet them once, and then you bump into them at a friend's party, and then you found out that this person actually is going out with your best friend and his boyfriend that she didn't tell you about. Yeah, and then you meet this person again and found out that he's too tiny her because he's going out with somebody else. And then you bump into the person again. Now, how well do you remember the person after that? You probably will never forget, isn't it? Yeah, because what happened? Connections. Everything that happens is a connection. And the connections form very quickly. And you know, once you remember this person, sometimes it's not so difficult to remember his or her friends also. Like, this is a two-timer, useless crocodile, after my friend, find out who their friends are, and then you go to Facebook, wow, all these people, I remember their names, okay? And then suddenly it's like, it knocks off very quickly, but before that, you don't have a reason to remember, am I right? So that's how memory works, that's how the brain actually works. So when you engage in thinking, and you ask yourself a lot of questions all the time, constantly be thinking, that helps your mind to develop. When you don't know something, what do you do? Ask. Now, ask doesn't mean that you go and ask somebody physically. Ask can also mean going to consult Uncle Google. He's our uncle, yeah, that's asking as well. Right? One of the important things I want to encourage you all not to do is to say, I don't know. Or the Australians will go like, I don't know. Something like that, yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Don't say that. Because when you say I don't know, what happens?
You shut yourself up.
The brain shuts up from new information. Say, I'll find out. Say, oh, that's interesting. Yeah, let me go find out. Say, can you go find out? Don't say I don't know. And one day when you have children, do the same thing with your kids, or if you have a younger brother or sister. I mean, besides the fact that you want to piss them off and all that, yeah, if they come to you with questions and you don't know the answer, let's not say I don't know, because what we're doing is we're teaching them to say the same thing. Would you mind your younger brother or sister to shut their mind up? Yeah, of course we desire the best for them, even though we hate them sometimes. Yeah, but we desire the best for them, right? So don't say I don't know. And if you do this favor for yourself, don't say I don't know. If a question comes into mind, every question is important. If a question comes to mind, it's a chance for you to learn something new. It doesn't mean that you must always get the answer. You know, like, do aliens exist? Is there life on another planet? Yeah? You don't have to get the answer, yes or no. It's just an opportunity for the mind to learn, expand, grow. In that process, you will get a lot of answers to yourself and stuff like that. Yeah? If you're in the car and you're listening to the radio, do you ask yourself questions?
Yes.
I hope so. Recognize that this thing inside here, has this workshop ever talked about control? The point about being in control? One of the laws of being in control? Okay, so since you have dealt with that, I won't address that, but let me just say that this instrument up here is a fantastic instrument, and then, like it or not, everybody wants control over this thing. You recognize that from the day you were born, have people been trying to control you? Parents try to control you. Your brothers and sisters try to control you. When you go to school, teachers try to control you. Headmasters try to control you. The government tries to control you. You watch TV, they try to control you. You listen to radio, they try to control you. You read newspapers, they try to control you. Everybody wants to get control. And here's the scary stuff. There is always somebody in control. If it's not you, then who? Alright? There's always somebody in control. And if you become a person that thinks a lot and is always asking questions, you actually protect yourself from people trying to control you all the time. Because then, that's what we call making up your own mind. Because you come up with answers on your own, you come up. When you listen to songs on the radio, ask yourself, what's the person singing about? Why is the person singing about that? So that you can guard your mind. That's an element of thinking. Right? And it starts there by yourself. It starts here, it will expand into other areas when you start working and all that. But it starts with yourself first. Very few people I know, they go for class to learn how to think, right? Then they go to office and then straight away they think one. Most likely they go back, they're still the same. If they haven't started to practice that in their daily life. Does it make sense? So I don't want to complicate this whole area of thinking. I just want you to start asking yourself questions. Because when you ask, you protect your mind, you protect yourself. Think about it for a minute. You listen to songs that come out on radio, right? Now what will happen if, let's say, when you're listening to songs on the radio, that in the whole day that you listen to the radio, did you spend a lot of time listening to music? Do you check out the songs that you listen to, what they sing about? Do you know what they're singing about? So, okay, if you say yes, that's very good. Yeah, yes means that you know what the lyrics are, you know what the person is singing about, and you consciously decide yes or no, I should listen to this song. Now let's tell me something, if the whole day, right, you listen to songs and they're singing about, I can't live without you, why have you left me, you two-timing, whatever, you know, life is so difficult, I feel so depressed, how will you feel? And then you wonder why some people feel depressed. Yeah, because input inside here affects how people feel. If it's the other way around, if every day you're listening to stuff, you can do it, you're fantastic, you're the best, you're a diamond, yeah, you're number one, you're better than everybody else. Every day you listen to stuff like that, do you think you come out very different the way you think, the way you feel, the way you experience life? Everything in life is perspective. Why not engage yourself in beginning to think, question things around you? When you read newspapers, ask yourself a question. Is it true? Why is it true? What makes it true? How did the person come up with this information? Where did they get their information source from? Ask yourself these questions. Haven't of late we have seen some news articles coming out on the internet and the newspaper that turned out to be false? Remember that story of that teenager, that was like a multi-million-dollar trader? Did you hear that story? And it was like traveling all around, and even the big TV stations picked it up. And they featured a friend and he picked all that. And then after so long the news ran around the world, right? They got scared because it's false one. They just told a lie, and the news spread all around. And you don't know what I'm talking about? Go to the internet, search, ask your friend, yeah, go find out. And it's just amazing because everywhere people were reading about it. I also read about it, and people thought it was true. Wow, so terrible, so young, making millions of dollars like Warren Buffett and all that. He can trade on the internet and all that. But then turned out it's actually false. And you know why the guy came out and said finally admitted? Because the parents told him, you better do it. Got scared of the mother. Right, so you see that these things are happening. So recognize that when you see situations like that happening, what's happening to thinking around the world? Going up or going down? You recognize that it's actually dropping, which means that in the future, it's going to be a very high demanded thing. Start exercising your thinking skills. Not difficult. Now just start asking questions. Good. Write down whatever you want to write down in your notes. Yeah? Write down whatever you want to write in your notes.
I have a question.
Great, yes.
Do you think that it's because of technology, our thinking skills is
Does it matter? If it's degrading, what do you do?
stop
If it's degrading, you find ways to improve it, right? If it's not degrading, you also find ways to improve it. But you did ask a very good question. There are a lot of theories behind whether or not it's happening. There are theories about the food we eat and the chemicals that we're putting into our bodies and all that. So far, as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't seem to matter. Because I find that the more I engage myself in thinking, the more I learn, the more I grow. That's it. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to know whether my thinking is up to my standard or not now because I don't have a comparative model of myself to match it with. You know, like a baseline, like you know, in the computer game you can there's an alternative me, and then I measure his thinking. Oh my god, he's like 101. Mine is like 72. What's happening? You know, I don't have that kind of measurement. Yeah, all I know is that when you engage yourself in thinking and asking questions, you grow. Your mind grows. It expands. And of course, you must be willing to. Of course, when you ask questions, you must be willing to go search, go and find out, go and learn new things. And you'll be amazed that the more things you learn, the faster you begin to learn stuff. This device up here, don't be worried about it running out of space. It's not like the hard disk, you know. Like when you hit like I don't know, you have a 1 terabyte, you know, you're hitting 9.77, then the warning comes out, load this space kind of thing. Like it doesn't happen to our mind. Our mind is, for me, I like to call what we call a dynamic hard drive. That means the more stuff you learn, the more capacity is created. The more things you know, the bigger it becomes. But not just knowing, it's actually applying it, practicing it. And that's the real hardcore knowledge that comes in. But the key thing is to really just start thinking, start asking questions. Okay? So nothing complicated about it. So are you ready to do more thinking?
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about problem solving. Because problem solving cannot be done without thinking. Problem solving itself is a very, very big field. And as I mentioned to you, you can make a lot of money with problem solving. Let me just share one quick example how people make money through problem solving. Companies are constantly wanting to create new products for the market. And sometimes you see that they create a new product and they have to convince people to use it. They need to teach you and all kinds of stuff, right? But let's say we work it the other way around. Let's say, for example, let me take an example here. Ladies, do you find that sometimes it's very difficult to use public toilets?
Yes.
Why?
So dirty.
Okay, we're not going to go into biological details here. Yeah, okay, so, you know, toilets are dirty, right? Dirty toilets are. So, it's a problem, right? Yeah. So, if somebody created something that would like make it so easy for you to use public toilet anytime, and you know, it's not something that you have to keep on spending on, you buy once, you keep on using it, and you can carry it around with you easily, it's so easy to use, and then it remains clean, would it be worth looking at buying for travels and all that? Yeah, so you see, when you solve a problem, you've got a ready market immediately. There's no need to do a lot of education about it. In fact, people will find out on their own. Does it make sense? So that's another method that you can use problem solving to create products, make money from it. Right? And it really comes back to thinking. That's right. Oh, by the way, do you know there's actually such a product? Wait, you know Oh, okay. So I'm doing marketing for people here. Okay, there is actually a product. It's okay, I know this sounds weird, it's actually a silicon funnel. Yeah, it's a silicon funnel that you can unfold. You can give it an iPad, unfold it. You go to the public toilet, right? You use that to do whatever you need to do, right? And then you just don't flick it, you know. So you can just rinse it with water because it's silicon, right? You rinse it with water and then you flick it. It dries out just like that. Fold it back and put it back in the handbag again. So there is actually such a product in the market. You know that? Okay, right. So now you know. Okay, so very, very simple. Very, very simple thing. Yeah. And I want to share with you all what we call a 7-step problem solving process. But just to be clear, because we have very short time, I'm not going to cover with you all the 7. I'm going to cover with you some of the tools that we use in some of the sections that I think will be very useful for you at this point in time in your life. And then you can put it to practice straight away. Is that okay?
Yes.
Also, I want to tell you that using some of these tools, I just made a lot of money already. Because companies pay me to do them. So I'm actually sharing with you how to make money here. Okay, so 7 steps, very, very simple. I draw a little pie chart here, and I'm going to divide it into 7 parts. Oh, how many are 1, 2, 3? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, 7 parts here. So, the way I remember this, I'm not going to ask you to do that, is I remember eat deer. Yeah, I remember this. I-I-G-D-E-I-R. Eat deer. That's how I remember it. So the first step is to identify. When we encounter a problem, we need to identify what the real problem is and we must investigate whether or not we got it right. So I just want to walk you through the logical process here, then teach you some of the tools. So the logical process is this. The reason why identification of a problem, these are, okay, the kind of problems I'm talking about here are not the issues that you face like just immediately need to solve now one. Like, oh my god, we don't have eggs in the house. Exactly, you see. Say you don't need to go and sit down. Let us consider why it is we do not have eggs in the house. Do not do that, okay? I think that's overcomplicating. Unless every 2-3 days somebody goes like, oh my god, there are no eggs in the house. Oh my god, there are no eggs in the house. And you're like, after 1 year, right, you've visited that like 100 times. And then like, okay, can we all sit down, committee meeting in the home? Let's analyze the situation because I'm sick and tired of hearing people shouting, there's no eggs in the house every 2 days. Yeah, so unless something keeps on recurring, we don't have to apply this full method here. But I think that this is useful when you go in teams or when you're looking at some problems that haven't been solved yet. Yeah, so first one is to identify the problem. Second one, you need to investigate to make sure that what we identify is more or less correct. So once we have established, hey, roughly we know what the actual problem is, then we generate ideas. Another word for generating ideas is a good innovation. Innovation is one step further. Innovation is not just actually coming up with an idea, it's putting the idea into practice already or applying it. Brainstorming, that's right, that's a more famous word, right? In some countries, I cannot say that because some people are offended. They say brainstorm, epilepsy and all that. Yeah. Nowadays we need to be politically correct, right? You heard that, right? Nowadays you cannot call people, hey, shorty, ha ha ha. You cannot say, you say height challenge. If you cannot see well, you say he's got sight or visually challenged. So you say blind person. Okay, so you get what I'm saying, lah. Okay, so anyway, we call it generating ideas. After you generate ideas, when you brainstorm, usually how many ideas come out? One or many? Many ideas, right? Can you use all of them? No. You can't really use all the ideas. So you need to narrow down the ideas, you need to select those that are possible one. So this is what we call developing possible ideas to a level that can be used, or whether it's a yes or no. So we develop them. After we develop the ideas, then we need to do something. You still got choices, you need to do what? You have to make a decision, so you must decide. As my friend says, if you do a lot of work and you don't make a decision, it's just a bloody waste of people's time. Have you ever been in groups where you do a lot of discussion, talking, everything, and finally no decision? How do you feel? It's so wasted, right? Your life is so precious, you just wasted it, like sell away like that for free. You know our life is getting shorter and shorter, right? Okay, let's not talk about that. We're very serious, but it's true. So we develop, we decide on which of the ideas we really want to implement, yeah? Then we do a process, yeah? We implement it. We actually implement the idea. So making a decision is not good enough, we need to actually put it out there. And implementing ideas involves marketing, selling the idea to people, getting them engaged, putting your team together, then you can put an idea out. Whenever you do a solution, is it sure that it's going to work? Are there things that can happen which you didn't expect? So this is all very logical, right? So you must have a process of review. You must have a process of review. Review means that you look back what you have done and see whether it worked or not. You check back. Look at whether anything happened. Can you fine tune it? Do you need to make some changes here and there to make it happen? Okay, great. So is it a complicated process? Easy lah. Can you remember? Yeah, you just say with me lah. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I know it sounds weird lah. Look at your friend and say eat the deer. Yeah, and you will remember it. Okay, it's a piece of cake. Eat the deer. Yeah. You know that these are called memory tools, right? These are called mnemonics. You familiar with mnemonics? Yeah. Mnemonics. Memory tools. You can go and learn them out on your own. Yeah, the mnemonic, so I read it down. Mnemonic, M-N-E-M-O-N-I-C. It's called memory tool. Memory tool. Very simple. If you go out there and learn memory tools, you will be able to learn new stuff and remember stuff easily. Can you see? Okay, mnemonic. Yeah, very, very simple. Like for example, trigonometry. Do you remember your trigonometry? You hate it. Do you know that you could have learned trigonometry like just like that? Some of you know, How do you all learn it? Yeah, that's right. Okay, follow her. You look at your friend, and say to your friend, no, Sokatoa. Hey, come on. You need to have the passion of, like an Aboriginal. Sokatoa. Yeah. So now you know why you'll be so sad because, see, I show you, Sokatoa, right? Toa. Correct? No? Sine is opposite to what hypotenuse. Cosine is adjacent to what hypotenuse. Tangent is opposite to what hypotenuse. 100% you will get your equation right, but cannot get it wrong. So basically, less than 1 minute. Remember those days, reading then what hypotenuse is 20. Okay, so anyway, so we have got this deal here. And in each of these categories are actually tools. Each one of these has got tools. So I want to take you through just a few tools that I think might be useful for you, and it will be useful when you get out in the corporate world. And later on when Sheila comes, she has exercises for you which you'll be able to use back the tools again. Tools, yeah. So the first tool I want to share with you regarding identifying issues and investigating issues, right, is a connected tool. Any of you heard of a fishbone diagram before? Yes. Some of you have learned this, right? No? Okay, so let me erase the board. Can I? Yeah. Let's flip this around so you all can see more. Oh, I wish I had a duster. Okay lah, use this first lah. I'm not going to erase the whole thing. Alright, so a fishbone diagram is one of the more famous tools used in the corporate sector and in many organizations to what we call trace the root cause of a problem. Tracing the root cause. Now, when you hear the word root cause, what do you understand by that? The actual. See, I bought a house some time ago. I like property. Anyway, I bought a house. So this is my friend's house. I bought a house, and she has a very nice garden. So when I bought the house, the garden was very nice. But after I bought the house, right, she well, it's not mine anymore. She left the garden alone. By the time I moved into the house, the garden was like a jungle. To put it plainly, okay, it was not a garden, it was a little jungle. So I decided to put my skills to good use. I bought myself a very huge pair of scissors. Not this one, the big one. Not a very big garden, okay, it's a small garden. And then the whole thing. And then I realized how unfit I am because I spent the next few days having backache and the thighs were really hurting because I had to do stuff like that. If you ever squat down for a long time, you know what I'm talking about. So anyway, I totally cleaned it out, and it was a very satisfactory job. I was very happy. Hey, thanks, man. But you know what? In 2 weeks' time, those darn jungles growing back. Actually, it's not the jungle. It was something in particular that was growing back. What do you call these things? Lalang or weeds, isn't it? Weeds. Not the weeds that you're in. Is it? No, seeds. Seeds. Okay. Yeah, seeds. Seeds. Not weeds. Yeah, you always should come up with weeds to give the opposite of seeds. Yeah, so not that kind of weeds, but actually weeds coming out of the garden. WEEDS. And I try again, I cut it down again, and what happened? Now, why? The problem with weeds, this one is covered when I called the professional to come in. This expert guy came in, and he looked at my garden and he went like that. You must look at his expression, he went like that, no? You know why, right? Yeah, that's right, my money is joy, his happiness. Because he looked at my garden and he said, this one cannot save. Yeah, and he's showing to me. He actually dug up the soil for me to have a look at what's underneath. Quite deep, He dug in, and inside underneath, right, is like the internet. It's a picture of the internet, imagine. It's like everywhere the roots were connected. So I'm killing the fur on top there, but the root is connected. And what happened? It grows back. It looks like it's dead, but it grows back. And I cannot imagine every 2 weeks doing that. That was like hell on earth. Very too doing that, but unless maybe my thighs will be very large by now, I'll have muscles here. Yeah, but I couldn't imagine doing that. And the only way that I could resolve the problem, he said that he had to pour chemical into he had to put a poison in my garden. Like the whole garden, he poisoned the whole thing. Everything died. Only brown soil left me. And he left it there for a period of time for the poison to sink to the bottom. And then they replanted the correct plants on top, the correct type of grass and all that. So you get that? When we talk about roots, when we deal with problems, it's the same. Sometimes it looks like we have solved the problem, but until we deal with the root causes, the problem comes back again. So that's how you tell you haven't solved the problem. When you fixed it, and then it comes back, and you fixed it, it comes back, and you fixed it, it comes back. That indicates that the problem hasn't been solved. So you need to target the roots. And one of the ways we use to target roots is to use a device or a tool called a fishbone diagram. Yeah? A fishbone diagram. Fish bone. So what does a fish look like? Bone. So I just share with you, by the way, please don't get caught up with the diagram. Just recognize that it's one of the tools that can be used. So a fishbone is very simple. First we draw a fish up. No need to have tail one. This fish doesn't no tail. So you draw a fish. Just not happy, problem, right? So you draw a fish, and on the fish head, you will write down either the problem that you want to deal with, either the problem, or you can go the other way around. So you can. So problem usually is more negative, isn't it? You can also be the positive. You can approach it in a positive way, which is you state the ideal. You get the difference here? One is you state the problem. One is you state the ideal. That means what you want, the ideal situation. So for example, what kind of problems do we have? I need to ask you this because your generation, you tell me what problems you face. Money problem. What kind of money problems? Continuing studies, not enough money, is it? Is it the same across everywhere?
No.
Okay, give me some topics so that we can discuss it. Which one? We have money problem. Alright, can we just generalize money? Okay, what are the issues that you all face that you might want to discuss? Huh?
Battery drainage.
Battery drain. Is that a problem?
That's not a problem.
What kind of battery in your battery?
Computer battery,
I thought you. You're not BMX, right? No, just kidding. Yeah. No, BMX is battery always drain, battery low. Yeah. No, okay, so battery as a mobile phone battery and all that, isn't it? So battery drain. Any other issues that you all face that you want to discuss? Discipline! Wow! What do you mean by discipline? Lack of discipline. Okay. Lack of discipline. Anything else? Choices. What about choices in the future? Oh, you don't know where to go. Confused lah. Confusion lah. Is that right? Can I say that? Confusion on future. Yeah, enough data. We got 4 different topics here. So, among these 4 topics, let's take a quick vote and see which one you find the most that you want to talk on. Okay, the rule is this, you can only raise your hand once. Okay, so you look at these 4 topics here, and we're going to do a count. Remember, only one, don't cheat, everybody looking, right? Okay, who wants to discuss confusion on future? Put up your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Hi, okay lah, I think we need to vote already lah. Okay, so let's discuss confusion on the future. This is the topic that you all have, right? So here's how you do a fishbone. You either write the problem, which is confusion on the future. I'm confused for the future. That's the problem. Okay? Or you write down what is the ideal then. Clarity. Being very clear about the future. Is that the ideal? The opposite, right? So the opposite, if you can also write clarity, then you can make this a smiley. Up to you lah. You all get that? So you do a fish head, you either write the problem or you write the ideal. Not the solution, you write the ideal. Solution you don't know yet. Now comes the next stage. You ask yourself the question, why? Why do we have confusion on the future? What is the reasons behind being confused about the future? So people will start to give ideas, right? Everybody has different ideas, they start to give ideas. This is what happens now. Let's say people give ideas and you collect all these ideas. You look at it and you say, oh, based on everybody's feedback, we think that this is the number one reason. This is the number one reason for us being confused. You would draw then a bone closest to the head and you would say that this is the reason one. Whatever the reason is now. Does it make sense? And if there is a reason one, do you think that there's some way to support it? There has to be things to support the reason, right? Like for example, you say we're confused with the future. And then the reason that came out was because you came to the conclusion that it's because, we're not talking about you all, let's say this group, they discuss the reason is because you're stupid. So how do you know you're stupid? So there are reasons. Number one, you look stupid. Number two, sound stupid. Number three, talk stupid. Number four, okay, so you get that? So there are supporting reasons for that. Does it make sense or not? So there have to be supporting reasons for the issue. So usually the reason number one will have the most stuff. Then there will be probably second reason. Next one. Then you will do a second bone. Where's my, there it is. Tissue is here. So you will have the second bone separated from the first one. Reason two. And then you have then you have 3, 4, you get that? Based on your discussion. Is it easy to do? This is a sample of a root cause analysis fishbone diagram. Very, very easy. Are you ready to give this a shot? Good. First, take a blank A4 paper and appoint a writer or a drawer in your group. One person to write or draw. Okay, so one person to write or draw. So the person that write or draw, what's your job? You're going to do what? You're going to be creating a little fishbone based on the discussion that your group has. Does it make sense? So you're going to talk and then you're going to create a fishbone. Can Good. So the topic is confused about the future. That's the problem. Right, so again, write either the problem or what is the ideal. Then you start to discuss about being confused in the future, but discuss on why. Everybody get it? Why you're confused. Okay, good. Start your discussion now. 2 minutes.
Okay. How many judges? Live. Too many judges.
This is surprises.
No.
Partial clashing of ideals.
Okay, laptop experience.
Belah mana ni?
Mana-mana.
Experience.
Experience on this incidents. Jadi kalau confusion of future is because of us. Most lah kalau confusion of future. And then after that, how they elaborate any option, get experience like that.
2 minutes passed. I want to tell you that when we have group discussions and we try to create diagrams like that, it becomes a very complicated process, and sometimes we find that 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, you don't really achieve that much. So how about I share with you some methods that you can conduct group discussions that is probably more fun and will allow you to extract much more ideas than you have on paper right now. Would you like to give that a try? Yes. Great. So this technique, I don't have a name for it. Just that I want people maybe to do it. So you can learn this, you can use it on your own. I have a copyright law. That means you can write, copy, whatever you learn. Alright, so you see the color paper on your table there? Listen up. Yeah, colorless. White color. Right. So what I want you to do is very simple. There is an assumption here. So like I said, not all assumptions are wrong. The assumption here is that you've already got some idea on what the causes of this issue is. Or you have done some study about it. Right, so this is the assumption. Normally in group work, we don't get together and discuss something unless we have done some study on our own first, right? Because you can't get everybody blur come here, then your answer also blur. So let's assume that you have gone back, each of your team members have done some reading up or something, they have got some ideas. Now the key thing when we have a group discussion is that we don't want to lose any ideas. Because you never know who could be the one that throws something useful out. So we try to grab all the ideas and work on the ideas to see what are the possible root causes. So here's a method that you can use. What I want you to do now is take the colored paper that you have and pass a few pieces to each member of your team. This is an activity all of you need to take part in. Take a few pieces each. Just take a few pieces. Take a few pieces. Just simply give only lah. And if you have any balance, put it in the middle of the table. Any balance, put it in the middle of the table. A few pieces, not one or two only. Just grab a few sheets. Now, if you run out of paper, don't worry, I've got extra. And the colors don't need to mean anything here. Next time when you do it, if you want the colors to mean something, also can. Alright, so grab a few sheets of paper each. I need to say that correctly. A few sheets of paper. Right? And I got some rules for you. Rule number one. Rule number one, no talking. This is a silent activity. My pen is not exactly the best. Right? Red pen, red pen. Rule number two. Never run out of paper. That means you must always have paper on hand. This paper here, never ever run out of paper. Number three. Good. Number three. Actually, one paper, listen one paper, one idea. One paper, one idea. You get what I'm saying? So whatever you think are the reasons for this, one paper, one idea. And number four, no stopping. Until I say stop. Get that? So you keep on writing. Keep it simple. Don't talk to people around you. Just yourself only. Everything you think it is, you write it down. Don't debate with yourself. Now is not the time to think, they will say no. No, don't do that. If the idea comes to your head, you write it down as a cause of the problem. So what is causing confusion among young people about their future? Say, never run out of paper. If you are finishing paper, what do? Grab from the middle. If no more paper in the middle, put up your hand and we'll come and give you extra paper. So facilitators that's extra, just grab any one of these and give out. Yeah? One paper, one idea. If not, it will complicate things. And don't stop until I say stop. Are you ready? Yes. Take a deep breath, get it yours. Yes? Can I write the question? Oh, okay. What? I mean, you didn't really create the question. The problem is that young people are confused for the future, right? So what is the cause of confusion about the future? Okay. Confusion about the future among young people. Just channel it to your group. Among young people. Everybody clear? What is the cause of confusion among young people? Are you ready? Get into your Zen position. And if you're ready, get set, go. Keep going. Keep it simple on the paper. The more you minutes, keep going. Remember, keep it simple, one paper, one idea. Keep going, keep going, keep going. And stop, everyone, stop. Okay, that's enough writing. So, total time expended was close to 5 minutes, same as just now. Alright, it's about 4 minutes and 35 seconds and that. Same, So, all the blank paper put it aside. No blank papers, only the papers that you all have written down. And you, this isn't big happy here, don't start with this isn't big happy. I want you to spread out all the paper that you have written down, everybody. No particular order. Just spread it out for your whole team to read. Just spread it out the table for your whole team to read. Okay, spread it out. Spread it out. Put it nicely so everybody can read loud. I don't mean like jump, no, Okay. Alright, listen. First thing I want to ask you, in that 4 minutes of day, did you accumulate a lot of ideas in your table? Yes or no?
Yes.
Would you say much more than your earlier discussion generated?
Yes.
Good. So here's a method you can use. Now, I want you to, as a team, just quickly read through what everybody has written. If you need to clarify, if you don't understand anything, now is the time to ask your team member. Okay, so go. Take about a minute to do this. Yeah? Alright.
Too many apa ni? Too many job to choose.
Indecision. Not yet. Now it's just read it, everything and clarify. Ask question to your team members.
I like this one.
What
Comfort.
So if you are done prioritizing, stage number 5 is that now you are going to label the category. So I've got brighter color paper here, blue and orange. You send your team member out, depending on how many categories you have. You grab those paper and you bring it back. You put the paper on the top, as the top of the category, and then you all discuss in the group what is the short label you want to give that category. So some of you are here stupid. You say stupid, that's one category. Alright? Some of you say lazy, you put lazy, it's up to you. It's your group work. Alright, so let's go. Grab a piece of paper and start to label your categories.
Selflessness.
Dah confident. Kawat lah.
Kawat lah.
Baca balik. Baca balik.
Nak tulis balik kan? Nak.
Label the categories.
Now you need to call each category.
Give it a name.
Give it a name, short name. Okay, family is family. Let's categorize it into a no extra.
Now, even though we don't have a morning break, we're still going to give you a short break. Go to the toilet, whatever, come back, yeah? It's a very short break. So, wait, don't go first. You're still doing okay. So, you can go on your break, just a short while, after you finish what you have to do here. Alright? But, listen to that, you go, you come back when I call you back. So don't wander away. When you go to the toilet, come back here, you can do other things, yeah? Because some groups have finished, some groups are still on the way. So this is what I want you to do now. I'm going to leave it to your creativity, how you're going to, now, you look at the paper and the categories there. Do you think that with this information, you can construct a fishbone now? Yes, we can. Is it clearer which is the first, second, third priority based on, and can it be supported? Is it factual? In the sense that, why is this number 1? Because it's got the support, isn't it? From the team, isn't it? The feedback. So this is what you do. There are a few ways in which some groups have done this. First method. Let me see where can I draw it up here? First method, your paper, let's say this is your issue number 1. and it's got the most supporting documents underneath, right? Most supporting. What you can do is this. You can, there's some cellophane tape and there's some staplers on my table here. You take it, you can string it together, let's sort of like tape it together, so that all of it can be seen. Okay? Then you put it on a separate piece of paper. On another piece of paper, you draw your fish, you draw your fish, and then all you're going to do is, let's say number 1, the title is stupid. All you're going to do is like that. Stupid. And of course, if you want to see why it's stupid, you refer to the notes. Stupid. This is the first method you can do. Some people, they are a bit more creative. They say, hey, I don't want to do like that. I want to stick the whole thing there. Also can. Just that some fish have very long bones here and there. I don't know what kind of fish that is. Okay? So, you can have the title stupid in the middle here. And then all these supporting points span out or by the side. It's okay. Use the cellophane tape and the staplers to staple or tape it together. Make sure, listen, make sure that your team can see all the little pieces of paper. Make sure that they can be seen. Now sometimes, can I have attention? Sometimes, 2 pieces of paper say the same thing, exactly the same thing. Dumb and dumb and dumb, right? In this situation, it's okay to put the 3 together, dumb, and just, staple it together and tape it. As long as all the individual ideas can be seen. Because later on, you are going to work on that. So you need your team members to be able to see all the individual ideas. So I'm going to leave it to you, how creative you want to do your fish with these notes like that. Alright? I've taken down the flip chart paper here, so you can grab a white piece of paper here and use it to do your fish. Write your team name, and that becomes your working paper. Okay, so once you're done with that, you can have a short break. Alright, let's go.
Sini memang tak lawa pun.
Tangglong mix with flower horn and with
Alright, everybody sit down. Let's talk about the fish. Yeah, the fish.
Please sit down at your group here. As you can see, time is flying. Soon to be 1 PM. You feel tired? Really? Do you want to go on? Are you having fun? Okay, good. That's the most important thing. To show you that sometimes activities like brainstorming, like coming up with ideas for what is a possible problem, can also be fun activities. And it's really up to you to be creative about how you want to do things. This is just one creative method. Actually, there is a name for this method. There is a name. I'll tell you the name later. But it doesn't matter. Why should you remember the name? Just remember how to do it. You can remember how to do it. Yeah, it's all on the board there in case you cannot remember. So you can just take notes, you can take a picture of that and anything else. Alright, team, can I get you all to sit down first? There will be time to, actually there will be no time to go on your fish, except during your lunch break. Maybe. But the fish is not the most important thing. The important thing is that you know how to do it. And you see, when you use this method, did everybody's idea get recorded? You didn't throw anything out, which means that your whole team feels included. And it's a very democratic method because the one with the most votes gets to the top. The one with the least votes gets to the bottom. So that's fair, isn't it? But who is in control of this process? Who? Your team. You are in control. So please remember this. If, let's say, for example, somebody gives an idea and there's only one. Let's say maybe the idea is government brainwashing. Let's say there's only one. There's only one. As a team, can you push that to the top priority? As a team, yes, you can. So I don't want you all to get stuck on methods and stuck on rules when you do processes like that. Don't just because there's only one, everybody say, no, there's only one, this is not working. As a team, you all can decide. Sometimes somebody throws out an idea and the whole team says, yeah, that really makes sense, and we didn't think about that. It's okay to push that to the top. It's just that in order to support that might be difficult because you only have one. You get what I'm saying here? So if somebody asks you why is this a priority, you can't say that, oh, because we had the most feedback or anything like that. But again, that control is under whose process? Who? You, your team. Now remember, a fish diagram is nothing more than a diagram. So another thing I want to emphasize is don't get into arguments with people outside. If you should meet people with different methods of doing the fish. There will be people with different ways of doing the fish. Some may not be so colorful, some may not be so fun. That's okay. Because if you are flexible, as long as you understand the diagram, that means that you really know what you're doing. If you cannot be flexible about it, insist that it must be done this way. This must be the first step. This must be the second step. Usually, that kind of rigidity or inflexibility demonstrates lack of understanding of the tool. That means they are stuck with the tool, they don't understand the principle. Because if you look at the fish diagram, now your fish diagram should look something like that, right? Maybe not the same, but you look something like that, correct? Or this way. This way is okay. So, you can help people do this way. Some will do this way. It's okay. And is it possible that it looks like that? Yes. Now, if it looks like that, what does it look like to you? Tree diagram, right? So, fish diagram doesn't have to be fish. It can be a tree diagram, it can be a flow chart. Some people want to use a mind map. That's fine. It doesn't matter. As long as you have a method to extract ideas and get everybody to contribute. Now, the general term for diagrams like that are called cause and effect diagrams. Cause and effect diagrams. Because they show what causes what to happen. So, in general, we call all these cause and effect, and there are plenty of different types of cause and effect diagrams. So, the actual term for a method like that would be a cause and effect diagram with additional cards. Yeah, CEDAC. This is the actual terminology. Then again, no use to know lah. Know how to do is more important, right? So cause and effect diagram with additional cards. For me, I just say use the post-it method lah. If you want to spend money on 3M. If you don't want, you want to be a cheapo, like here, you use paper, and you can do this anywhere. It's so easy, right? Now just now, when we were doing this, I had a question from one of the groups. What was the question again?
There are many similar answers, and I was asking whether do we still put it all together?
Yeah. Okay, so the question that she asked me, let's say for example, the first priority had 7 contributions, 7 pieces of paper. What happens if all the 7 say stupid? So if I combine the stupid together, will it mean that that becomes the last category? No, it will not, because based on the priority, we still use how many votes come in for that particular item. It's just that later on, the next stage after this, after we identify and we investigate the problem, is that we generate ideas, we brainstorm. When we generate ideas, we don't need to see 7 stupid there, we just need to see 1 stupid, that's all. And then we generate ideas because you know what the contributions are. Does it make sense to you so far? Yeah, okay? Alright, any questions about this method and what you've done today so far? You can look at your team member and say, yeah, you take some time, ask your friend. I know you need to change gear for a while. Question to ask. Any questions? What do you do with the fish? Oh, that's interesting. The fish becomes part of your working papers. Working paper is like evidence of work done. So you keep the fish in storage. Because later on, when you go into companies and all that, you of course do not submit the fish to management lah. But you will provide things like reports. You will provide things like recommendations and so on and so forth. They will ask you, how did you come about things like that? What did you do to reach this stage? So you have a documented fish in storage which you can use to provide evidence of work done. Does that make sense? Yeah, we don't, you see, in the corporate sector, we emphasize efficiency a lot. So I prefer if people don't redo things 2 or 3 times. Not like discuss, then we draw the fish and all that. As far as I'm concerned, if you can keep all the papers that you use, that is good enough as your working paper. Of course, you tidy up a summary before you present it to management or for final presentation. But then things like that, which is very active-based, very colorful, these are great to put as pictures. Sometimes add on to the reports to show people that all of you were hard at work, or show them you were having fun, or show them you were stressed, or whatever. But then when you are questioned, you can support your decisions because you have got actual working papers, like the fish. Does it make sense? The other thing you use the fish for is that later on, well not later, actually now, when we brainstorm ideas about the problems there, you can actually see as a diagram and you can read from the paper what the issues are based on feedback. Right? Any question? Going one. Going twice. No questions. Wow, give yourself a round of applause. Well done. I have a question for you. How do you know that your fish diagram is like that? How do you know that the first one really is the main root cause, the second one is the second root cause, the third one is the third root cause? How do you know that? Based on the voting? But does the voting mean that it is? No, it doesn't, right? So I want to tell you something, and I don't want you to confuse you. So if you really don't understand this, please, you must come and talk to me after this. Right? But I thought it's important for me to mention that when we do problem solving and we brainstorm on root causes, actually the information that we have here, unless it's a clear cut, that means it's like a technical issue or something where there are calculations and it can be proven. Sometimes issues, certain problems, there is no real way to prove what are the real root causes. So what we have on paper here is a best guess. Your tikam, you know tikam? Is your best tikam based on your studies, based on your experience, based on input from the team. This is the best tikam you can take as to what the real root cause is. You get what I'm saying? Which means the theory is this: we don't really know what the actual root cause is. We can only guess with supporting evidence what we think the actual root cause is. And so what happens after this is, we need to actually investigate to find out whether or not these are the actual root causes. So listen to me carefully here. Right? When you do presentations, and you present your studies to a group of people, let's say your classmates or anything, do they always clap and support you? Yeah, they're absolutely right, yeah man, everything you say is correct. What do they do usually? They critique you, right? Correct? Lecturers will criticize what you have, isn't it? So, I'm not going to take you through, I'm just going to explain this. When we do our research to confirm the information here, there are two ways to do it. One way, you look for evidence to support what you have. So let's say you say the main root cause is stupid, you can go around looking for evidence to support that it is stupid is the reason. But the problem is this: let's say you're Iron Man and you're standing in front of an enemy and they're shooting at you and you're like, wow, you block your lasers are shooting everything . How many bullets does it take to take down Iron Man? Only one. One bullet only, right? You just need one bullet to. I always wonder why the bullet never go through the lubang in the eye there or something. Correct or not? You shoot everything up, but you only need how many bullets? One. So you need to understand this, no? Because all of us were students at one time. We did our research to support our assignments. When we are doing our research, or let's say you're studying, what do you do with information that don't support what you want to say? Say again louder, please. What do? You dump it aside, right? You only take those things that support you and then you put into your report. Betul tak? Betul. This is the problem when it comes to corporate or even when you do problem solving outside. The people outside who are listening to your presentation, they are very likely to find the thing that you just throw away. So, you can have 10,000 points to support that stupid is the answer, the root cause. But if somebody has one piece of evidence that says it's not, what happens to all your 10,000? Gone. You understand this? So when you do your research to support these things, this is what we do as consultants on the outside. We don't, immediately after we finish fish diagrams or cause and effect diagram, we are no longer friends. Now we are enemy of each other. That means I'm going to find ways to shoot down your idea. I'm going to collect all the evidence to shoot your idea down. Two things will happen. First of all, when I use this approach, I will not miss out information that other people will use against us during our presentation. Does it make sense? Everybody clear? So this one I have to explain. Very hard to give notes. The second thing is that in our preparation, when I find all these points to shoot down the idea, let's say for every point that I have, you have time to come up with the answer. So when I present, I feel safer because I'm ready with my answers for what people are going to throw at me. But let's say I have a lot of points and there's no answer for it. Then what happens? We take it out from the fishbone. You get that? Because let's say I look for it, I have a lot of evidence to say that it's not stupid. It's not stupid, that's not the answer. And there's no way to defend against, there's no answer you can come up against me, so you should take out the stupid thing, because if you put it there and you get grilled during the presentation, then I have to say that we are very stupid for leaving it inside there. You get what I'm saying? You know it's coming, you know you can't defend it, you know it's going to get shot down, still you insist to put it inside there and present it, then you're screwed when it comes to the presentation. Does it make sense so far? Yeah? So please, you keep this in mind when we are doing investigation. Now, how do you investigate? I can't tell you. I can only share with you that there are so many ways to investigate. You can use surveys. You can use hidden cameras sometimes to obtain information. You can do observation. You can do additional research. There are heaps of ways to do surveys to try and get as accurate information as possible. That's up to your creativity. Right? Don't just stick to common methods only. Like today, nowadays, how do we interview people for a job? You prepare yourself well for interview, you prepare everything you're going to say. Let me tell you a secret some employers are doing. Your interview starts the moment you meet with them, not in the room when you sit with them. So some employers are already observing you in action. From the moment you walk into the office, actually some start before that. Based on whether you answer your phone calls on time, when they ask you to send in a CV, or resume, do you send it in on time? When you say you're going to send it in, do you actually send it, or you forgot to send it? All this is information that they are collecting. So because they need to find ways to get accurate information. Do you get accurate information in the interview? How to get accurate information? You go for classes, teach you how to answer questions. You tell them what they want to hear. You get what I'm saying? So again, investigation into all these things is up to your creativity. You come up with it. I heard of one company. They wanted to get accurate information on whether or not their customer service is doing the right thing. So you know what it is? This is an American company. They service cars. So what they found out was this. Putting the paper there, you know, sometimes you go for customer service. If you like my service, give me a 5. If you think I'm lousy, give me a 1. Usually what do you give them? Do you do this? This is a 1, okay? I put it inside the box. Do you ever do that? Even though the service is bad? Very seldom, because people try to be nice, right? But when do you complain about service? Outside, when you meet your friend, that stupid girl or that stupid guy, don't ever go to the counter. You get what I'm saying? So this company, how they derive accurate information, they paid the taxi drivers that were waiting for passengers on the outside to gather information from the passenger and feed the information back to the company. Because they realized that the passengers, when they drop their car off for service and then they go do their own thing, shopping or whatever, they complain a lot to the taxi drivers. They tell all kinds of things. They can tell the name of the servicing person, what went wrong, everything. So some of these cab drivers were given a set of survey questions to ask. And of course the passenger doesn't know. They thought they are just doing normal conversation. And the taxi driver will be always waiting in front there because when they pick the passenger up, they get paid for the passenger. When they return the survey, they get paid for the survey also. So the company solved 2 of their problems and managed to get accurate info. Does it make sense to you so far?
Yes.
Okay. Now I want to tell you another thing about this idea of looking for the loopholes instead of looking for support. That it is not a new idea. We study science in school. Do you know that science is not based on fact? What heresy! Burn this man at the stake. No. Witchcraft! Yeah, did you know that science is not based on facts? Science is actually based on what cannot be disproved. That means I can come up with a theory, and if every test I do supports the theory, then they accept that as a scientific information, as a fact. You teach all the students, they will call it a fact. But until somebody finds something that blows it out of the water, it remains there as a fact. Then suddenly somebody discovers something one day, and then the whole fact disappears. You get it? Because they can't prove everything in science. So they can only get the best guess. Yeah? If you look at science books today, you will know that some information has already changed from the time that you study and from the time that I study. So it is not a new method. Okay? Great. Did I confuse anything? Can we go on to maybe 1 or 2 more things before we have lunch? What time is it now? 12:40 already. This is the Actually, this is the final things that I want to share with you, because I think at this level, doing things about group work, learning how to get feedback from each other, and probably getting ideas like brainstorming will be the most useful tools you need. Other tools can come later, like when you start working. Companies will have tools to teach you how to make decisions. Every company will have different set of tools. You can ask them. They will have measurements or evaluation methods to come up with decision-making processes. But this afternoon before lunch, I want to cover with you all a little bit about brainstorming or generating ideas. Now, have you been engaged in brainstorming before? Usually, how do you do it? How do you brainstorm? You discuss. You discuss, will it share the same problem as what happened just now? Your first discussion?
Yes.
Same issues, right? So can you use this method to brainstorm?
Yes.
Can, yeah? Again, I say, as long as you understand the principle, you can use the method, you can apply in many different places. So, since none of you are brand new in brainstorming, let's talk a little bit. I want to give you all some tips when it comes to brainstorming. Yeah? So I'm going to pin this up there, and you can copy it down. Right? 7 general ideas about brainstorming. Okay. 7 general ideas about brainstorming or idea generation. First one, whenever you get together in a group to brainstorm, rule number 1, and these are not the only rules, but I think 7 is good enough. Always appoint a leader or a facilitator. Have we done that? Yes, you have a leader already, right? Always have a facilitator. In this case, for today's brainstorming, I will be your facilitator or your leader. Number 2, always have a structure when you brainstorm. Have you ever heard, oh, brainstorming should be freedom, free for all, do everything. Have you ever heard that before? Sort of. I'll tell you right now, it's not true. See, right now, I put you all in the room, I say, okay guys, come on. Think of, let's come up with some business ideas for our C program. Come on, business ideas, come on. Come on, business ideas, give me some ideas, come on. Do you have questions in your mind that you want to ask before coming up with ideas? What kind of questions do you have? What kind of business are you looking at? What else? Where's the money coming from? What's the model? Which market? You're having questions like that, right? So what's happening actually? These become restrictions to idea flow. You're not sure whether to say or not to say. So no structure actually results in less ideas. Having a structure gives you more opportunity to operate. But not too much structure. Please understand, every idea I give you here, you must do moderate. Too much structure becomes hard. Okay, remember, ideas must be within the range of 100 to 500 ringgit only, operating in Malaysia, only if the government is happy, blah blah blah. And after give a lot of ideas, no more ideas really. Give a lot of suggestions, no more ideas. So you got to keep it somewhere in between. Not too much, not too little. Give people a bit of a structure. Now, do you have a structure to brainstorm? Do you have a structure? Where is your structure? The fish that you have created, isn't it? So the fish guides your idea generation. Very good. Number 3, when you get together and you brainstorm, you must have a little bit of pressure. Have you ever gone for brainstorming where, okay guys, come on, let's have an idea, and then there's no time, there's like freedom, you don't know where you're supposed to add. What happened? Very hard, isn't it, to get ideas? So you must have a little bit of pressure, not too much pressure. You don't go up to someone like, come on, faster, one more! Yeah. You cannot think. So give a little bit of pressure. What kind of pressure can you give? Like what? Time, that's right. So did I limit your time? And what happens when the time is getting shorter and shorter? Sometimes you find that you write more, isn't it? So you see a little bit of pressure, but not too much. Yeah? Another way that you can pressure people, use music. Music that has a fast beat tends to make the heart beat faster, and that creates more blood flow, and that gives you more ideas. Okay? So a little bit of pressure is good. Number 4, get a little bit physical. Ooh. No, I don't mean touch each other. And please don't touch yourself. Alright? Whatever that means. Physical means that if you have a little bit of physical activity, it helps. So movement helps. Do you find that when you are thinking of ideas or you're trying to solve a problem, sometimes walking around or sitting in a car, or sitting in a bus, or even a train helps. Yeah? Most people, this tends to be the case. Some people could be the other way around, but it's okay. Just giving a general idea here that movement helps. Physical activity helps even more. So walking is one of the best ways. You find that people get a lot of ideas when they are walking or when they exercise. Not the heavy type, you know, like lifting 200 kilograms, you know, the bar is going to break, yeah, because those kind of exercise you get an idea. I got an idea! Okay. Yeah, so it doesn't, not that kind. But the light exercises, people will go for walking or they want to walk later or something, yeah, not speed cycling, light exercises. In fact, some of my friends who are entrepreneurs, they keep voice recorders with them, not handphone, voice recorder, real one, diction pens or whatever, and then when they get an idea, they quickly record it. And usually it's when they are doing their light exercise or something. And so they have this constant flow of business ideas or projects they want to do. They never run out. You think about it, how many times have you had ideas and somebody stole it from you? You know, you had an idea and then next moment, it's out there, you know, that was my idea. Okay, so if you really believe the law of attraction or that, you must understand something, you know. When an idea comes to mind, it's not just to you. The question is, who acts on it first? Who has the capacity to do it first? Alright, so little physical activity helps in brainstorming. As best as possible, get everybody in the team to contribute. So that means that people cannot talk simultaneously. Or any method you use, like for instance the one I just gave you, everybody gets a chance to contribute. Number 6, build on each other's ideas. Shooting down ideas in brainstorming is not the best way to move forward. Take an idea and build it, enhance it. So all ideas are good ideas. Nothing is a bad idea. Alright, so continue to build on ideas. Don't shoot people down, because when you shoot, the idea kills, the idea dies there. And sometimes people who get their ideas shot down, they stop contributing. Does it make sense? Alright, so keep on. Let me tell you a quick story about building on ideas. This one I read it in a book called The Disney Way. You know Disneyland? You know, yeah, actually, on which part of your body, right, you can find Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, Goofy. It's a clean joke, okay? Do you know? No idea. Okay? Disney. Alright, it's a lame joke, okay? So anyway, this is a real story. I actually read it in the book, The Disney Way. And they were talking about this company, right? They are a telecommunication company, like telecoms, and they have these long copper wires that run long distances to transmit signals. But they have a problem. This is in the US. The problem is that in the areas that are away from the city, what we call the outskirts of the rural areas, it gets very, very cold during winter months. And some of these wires, they freeze. Once the wire freezes, you know that all electrical devices, whether it's wiring and all that, they have an operating temperature. Too hot, damage. Too cold, it can stop. So what happens when the wires freeze, the signals cannot travel. And what they used to do was they send a technician out to go and defrost the cable. And that is a very dangerous job, because it's like a 2 or 3 man team in a truck. They have to drive out to this place, and then, you know, between the 3 of them, they do the la-la-la, climb up the pole. yeah, because, you know, one person climb up to do the job, the rest have to support lah. And can you imagine if somebody falls down? How are they going to rescue the person? So it's a very, very dangerous job. And so the company decided to do a brainstorming session to come up with ideas on how to solve this problem. So in the room, they had engineers, they had consultants, everything, and they had secretaries. Yeah, because one of the ideas, number 7, is record everything. So somebody has to record everything. And they were throwing out ideas. And you know, the idea went along something like that. You know? Somebody said like, hey, I think we need to, in the forest there are a lot of bears, you see. If we can get the bears to come out and shake the poles regularly, the icing wouldn't sit on the wire and we wouldn't have this frozen problem. So number 6 says what? Build on ideas. Don't shoot down any idea. So typically, if you're having a very active brainstorming session, there will be plenty of nonsense being spoken about that, especially one guy's more. So anyway, so somebody said, instead of shooting down the idea, they said, hey, that's very interesting. You know, how do we get the bears out? And they say, yeah, you know, I like Winnie the Pooh, and he likes honey. So I think if we put honey on the pole, right, the bears will come out and you'll try and climb, and you can't climb and you shake the pole. Okay, so far it's very logical, right? You think, what are the bears doing during winter? Hibernating lah. And what happens when you put honey out in the winter? Freeze, right? So it's very logical so far. But anyway, nobody shot the idea down, and they say, yeah, that's a great idea, let's get the honey up, you know. And then somebody said, how do you get the honey up there? They said, use helicopter lah. We just air drop the honey onto the pole. What a fantastic idea. Now listen, this is the best part. So they were talking all this crazy stuff, right? And a secretary in the room raised her hand. Normally secretaries do not raise their hand. But this secretary, she raised her hand, and they're like, everybody was like, secretary. Yes, you know, since it's open to everyone. Yeah. You have a question? He said, yeah, I have a question. Just out of curiosity. Yeah. I mean, I'm not an engineer or anything, but I don't know. But my question is this. In order to, you know, like you take a helicopter to airdrop the honey. So helicopter, I noticed when they fly, right, the wind is very strong on the helicopter blade. So everybody's like, So I wonder, right, whether or not the wind is strong enough to blow off the icing on the wires. And for a moment there, you know, engineers and consultants and bosses all were very quiet. And then some of them said, actually, we don't know. You know, we've never tried that. And they tried it. And what? It worked. It worked. It actually worked. Crazy, right? So you see, you never know where ideas take you. The important thing is not to shoot down ideas, build on them. Continue to build on these ideas. Right? So 7 little simple tips here. Have a facilitator, have a structure, apply a little bit of pressure, some physical activity helps, make sure everyone gets a chance to contribute, build on each other's ideas, record every single thing. 7 very simple tips. Are you ready to try a method that will have all 7 inside? Fantastic. For this method, I will need each one of you to have 1 sheet of paper. So take a fresh sheet of paper in your hand. Take a fresh sheet of paper. It's a very, very short exercise, and it's an opportunity for you to experience one of many, many different brainstorming or idea generation methods. Okay, so grab a new piece of paper. So here's the thing now. Look at your fish. Do you have enough issues on your fish for everybody to deal with? Like, if there are 6 people, there are 6 issues there. Got or not? Some teams got more than that, some teams have less, right? Now, if you have less issues, 2 people will do the main one. Repeat back again. Okay, repeat back. So, we're going to do this, and then you can have your lunch, and Sheila's going to come back and teach you additional things. But I think that this method will be very, very useful. Okay, so, have you got your paper? Yes. Good. This is what I want you to do. I want each one of you to put a header on your paper, like a title. Pick one of the main issues on your fish to write on top. Pick one of the main issues. So try and be different. If you can be, all should be different. If not, it's okay. Repeat back the first one and then the second one. You don't have enough. So I'm going to come by and help your teams out here. So always start from the main one, move downwards. Yes. Yeah, we're going to do solution. I want you to pick the issue first. Pick the issue first. On your paper, write the topic on top, as in the problem, the root cause problem. Okay, this exercise is based on the assumption that you have already investigated and all the issues that you put there is correct. You all feel that it's correct. Okay, so then you can do this. One more thing, some of your teams you got less than, like maybe you have 4 issues, you got 5 or 6 team members, right? So you repeat 1 and 2 being the main issues. But of course, you don't have 1 and 2 sitting next to each other like one. Okay, let me give you an example so you understand this better. Let's say this team here. How many issues you got? 4, and how many team members? 5, right? So by right, it should be 1, 2, 3, 4, then 1 again, isn't it? But I don't want the 1 and 1 to sit next to each other because after this, the activity is going to involve you moving along. So I'm going to shift the 1. So maybe 1 is in the middle and then the last one put there. Alright, so after you do the activity, you understand why I do that. Okay, so have you all written down the topic yet? Got Okay, good. Now, close everything. No other paper except the fish and your blank sheet of paper. Close everything. Now listen to me carefully.
Yes.
After this, I'm going to say, go. And then you're going to start writing. Based on the topic that you have there. Are you all familiar with the issues on the fish? You have discussed it, you more or less have this idea, right? So based on the issue there, I'm sure you've got some ideas to solve it. I don't care how ridiculous the idea is or how crazy it is, you
You've got some idea. Alright, you've got some idea. So what I want you to do is this. The moment I say go, you're going to start writing down your ideas on a piece of paper that you have. And you keep on writing. Whatever crazy, ridiculous idea you have. You understand? You just write me. You keep on writing until you hear me say, change. Now when I say change, you stop writing. You stand up from your chair and you change place with the person. You shift, everybody shift to the right hand side. So that means, where will he go? He will run to this chair. You will move to the next chair, next chair, next chair, next chair. Don't take each other's place up. You get what I'm saying here? So if your friend is still writing, you kick your friend out of the chair. If your friend is still writing, you're like, stop, stop! Push them away and sit in the chair because you have limited time. Limited time to do this. The moment you sit down, you start reading what has been written and then you add on. You get what I'm saying? Okay, are you ready to give this a shot? Okay, look at the topic and get ready to write. I'm going to set my timer here. Okay, are you ready? Music has to start first. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, here we go. Are you ready? Get set and go! Solutions, yeah. Solutions only. 10 seconds left. 1. Change. Go, 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 go. Good. 4, 3, 2, 1. Change. Let's go. Read it right. Excellent. 2, 1, and change! Yeah! 4, 3, 2, 1, and change! Let's go. Only 2 more rounds. Let's go. Read on those crazy ideas and fill it in. Don't stop. You should be writing down the final thing that you want to say. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop. Oh, okay, that's it. You're done. Alright, wow, you automatically move back to your original paper, is it? Okay, look at your paper. How many ideas do you collect? A lot of ideas, right? So, can or not this method? Did you get tired or bored during the time? Or like no time to be bored at all? It's really regular. 1 minute. You see, this is the proof that you can actually come up with really good ideas in a short time. And once you have done an exercise like that, you've got plenty of material to continue your discussion in your group when you want to do brainstorming. Better than keep on getting stuck and coming up with ideas. So this technique is excellent at generating ideas, or forcing people to come up with ideas. And there's no time to think whether your idea is good or bad. Just put it up. Because how do you know it's good or bad? Just like, who would have known that talking about Winnie the Pooh can lead to a solution that saves lives? Isn't it? Right, so all ideas are great. And we were talking earlier on about the Post-it note, which is also another product that came out of an accident. The project failed because they couldn't produce the right glue. But then somebody had an idea to put this useless glue that can stick and take off on a piece of paper. And today we have the 3M Post-it note, which is one of their biggest, most profitable product lines. I mean, if you don't think it's profitable, try and cut 30 pieces of paper, sell it to somebody for like, how much? $5 or something. And you know, it keeps on getting used up. So, brainstorming or idea generation, no one can tell where it will go. But the most important thing is that you generate as many ideas as possible. So this kind of method also prevents people from going into like too relaxed mode and then they have no more ideas flowing. Right? Great.
Do you want to spend a bit more time on one more method before lunch? Yeah. Okay, I can share with you one more before lunch, right? Of course, there are plenty of methods actually. And just let me quickly tell you why it's not a good idea to learn too many at one go. Because I did it for one company, they insisted that I should give them all the tools to do problem solving, brainstorming. So I did provide for them 99 different tools. In the book, of course, in the book, not me, I provide for them. You know what happened? They spend more time arguing about which one is the best tool to use, pro and cons of the tool and all that, and they never use the tool. Because they cannot agree on which is the best tool. So my suggestion is, just use whatever you have learned, whether it's 1, 2 or 3 tools, use it, and I tell you, you'll get much more benefit than trying to learn 100 different ways of doing things. And you know what the amazing thing is, when you start using these 2 or 3 methods, your mind will come up with new ways of doing it. So this is a round robin method. Can you change this method? Can you do it differently? What other method can you use here? Like that. Instead of moving your butt, move the paper. That's right, that's another technique. Instead of moving the paper, we can paste the paper main issues in the room, like a round robin, and have people run to the different issues every time you call time. Yeah, so there are many different ways of doing things. You can even turn it into a game, pass the bottle around, and if you land the bottle and the music stops, you've got to at least shout out 1 or 2 ideas. So people panic and the ideas start to flow. Alright, so these are all different techniques you can use. So here's another technique that I want to share with you. Now to do this technique, we will only select one issue to work on. So how about we pick the main one, whatever the main issue is. Okay, so what's your main issue on this group here? The number 1. Sorry, what's that? Self-doubt. Okay, this group here? Weaknesses. This one? Say out the last. What a fish? What a fish? Alright. I wouldn't know what that means, but what a fish is the issue here. This one here? Uncertainty, and the last group? Self-doubt, like self-issues. Okay, very good. So you've got the main topic there, right? So I'm going to share with you a method. This method is very, very good if you should ever run out of ideas. Sometimes you are doing your brainstorming and you know you get a mental block. So here's what we're going to do. Your whole team is going to contribute for this one. Take a new piece of paper, one only. Take a new piece of paper. You can, if you are very green. Yeah, you can use black. Now again, no notes, so you remember what you did, you know. Because there's no point having notes. This is something that you practice. And you find opportunities to practice this everywhere you go. Every time you've got a group discussion or whatever, say, hey guys, I have an idea, let's try this method out. Try it out and you get better at it. So take a new piece of paper and write down the main issue as the header, like what you did just now. Write it down. Write it down. Have you done that? Good. This is what I want you to do to the paper. I want you to fold the paper into half like that. Fold it into half. Draw a line down the middle. Separate the 2 sides. Draw a line down the middle. The title is on top. Draw the line down the middle. Got it? Step 1, you are only going to write it on one of the sides, so you choose right or left, up to you. Okay, choose the side. Somebody is going to write down the ideas and give. Listen carefully to what I'm going to ask you to do. I want you not come up with solution, no. I want you to come up with ideas how to make a problem worse. You understand? This is not a problem to any of you. So if let's say the issue is self-doubt, how do you make it worse for self-doubt? Always criticize the person. Tell the person you're so stupid. Demonstrate the stupidity to them. Give them negative songs to listen to. Let them read articles about how life is hopeless. Yeah? So you come up with all these ideas. You get what I'm saying? Yeah? You know, this one shouldn't be an issue. I know because. Okay. Are you ready? So in the given time, come up with as many ideas as possible how to make the issue worse. How to sabo the issue lah. Okay, are you ready? Get set, and your time starts now. Go.
fun doing this one? Yes! You like, right, this one? Yeah, isn't it easier to come up with ideas for this one? Now, of course, you cannot take this idea and then apply it, you will solve the problem. So this technique that I'm sharing with you is called, the name of this method is called reversal. Reversal. Okay, so what you do is, with all these terrible ideas on how to make it worse, you are going to reverse the idea to be something positive that can be used. So you read, like for example, if one of your ideas is keep the person doing nothing. So what's the opposite of that? Give them a lot of things to do or get them involved in all activities. You get that? So I want you now to spend 1 or 2 minutes, reverse the ideas that you have written down. Okay, just do that now as a team. And stop! Give us a round of applause! So, 10, fun, easy. We've got several methods now that you can begin to apply them and use them. Please use them all the time. Get yourself very familiar with them, get yourself used to it. You find that they will produce a lot of results for you when you are dealing with groups outside. These are some ideas that I can safely say that they're not just ideas. I actually prepared maybe to run some of these things with groups of people, like exactly what you did. So there is definitely a market for things like that. Develop your skills in the area of thinking, problem solving, and as you get used to some of these tools, then it's okay to begin to add on or modify. So again, this method, the last method that you're doing here is called reversal, and the technique is very simple. Step 1, make the situation worse. Step 2, reverse all those ideas that made it worse. And you find that sometimes taking a short time to be a bit naughty can start the engine running again in terms of ideas. Alright? So I know you guys are hungry, and so it's time for lunch. Yay! And who should I pass it to for lunch? Yes? Yes! Are we wrapped up? Yes? Good. Remember what you learned today?
If they cannot run away yet, we got a few little housekeeping things.
Alright. So thank you all very, very much. Great time.
Okay. I know you're all ready to go to lunch, but you had nasi lemak this morning and some of you strolled in fairly late. So we started late. But before we end this session, our wonderful lady here on the sidelines is an expert also in critical thinking skills, problem solving. She's a business coach. I want to invite Gorsha to share her thoughts and
Thank you. It was wonderful work, and I'm really impressed how you work here. It's very good. You can see, because we think very often that we are not creative, we cannot think critically. Everybody can, but we can't. But you can see that you can. Yes? So it is only your mindset that you really need to believe that you are capable to do it. You can see that how many, that when you came here in the morning, did you expect that you will create so many, and you will create so many ideas, and you will find so many solutions to the problem, which is quite important, probably, yes, for you? No? Okay. So the question is, yes, the questions are very important. So the question is why? Yes. So I really believe, and based on my experience, the questioning, this is a very big, simple tool, but it is really, really important. And we use it based on my experience. I worked in the banking, And very often, of course, we had a lot of problems, really a lot of problems with customers, with processes, with not working something. It's really important to ask questions and not waiting until somebody else tells you what to do. It is also the attitude that you will ask questions, you will give your solutions. So then also the employee will see on you as a person who can contribute. Yes, this is also important part. So, but also with any other skill you need to practice. It's not only about that you came here today, you just know, you practice a little bit. This is something which you need to practice, practice and practice. Only thanks to practicing you can gain the confidence. Very often it was the point here. Why we are not clear about our future? Because we don't have enough confidence. So how I can gain confidence? By practicing. Yes? By doing something, by asking questions. So from my point of view, it's really important, and I really engage you to practice what you learned today and what you will learn later, what you have learned during the previous sessions. It is something which you will use for the rest of your life. It's not only at work, it's at your family, it's with your kids, it's with your, professional life. Everywhere you need to think critically, you need to resolve problems every day, day by day. Do you agree? Yes? Okay. So try, practice. Practicing, you will be a master if you will practice more. So thank you very much.
Before I let you leave, you came all the way to Malaysia from Poland. You're not going to leave this hall today without telling our group here what kind of critical thinking and problem solving you have to do since you landed in Malaysia. Completely different country from Poland, completely different society, different culture, different experiences. Maybe just give them a short snippet and how you adapted and basically use those skills to help you survive and do well in our country.
Okay, so of course, this is a problem, yes? So this is a problem because I just came here and you know, I had to adapt to a new environment with new people, new cultures, especially here in Malaysia, yes? Because you have this opportunity to live with different cultures. So I use a lot of skills, like emotional intelligence, like this is something like also intelligence, culture intelligence. So how can I deal with people? And also I ask the question to myself, what I can do? I changed my life. Yes, I changed my life. I had a family, I worked. And one day, I just came here and I had a question, you know, I had a problem because what next? How can I live here? But what I did, I asked a question to myself, what I can do here? What I would like to do? How can I use my experience in Malaysia? How can I survive here? What I would like to learn, what I would like to experience, what I would like to gain from being here. Yes? And what is the positive side? So I always looking for a positive sides of any experience which I have. So it's really I'm really grateful that I had this opportunity, and every change in our life is the opportunity to learn. every opportunity. If you leave your city, if you leave your country, if you have any opportunity of doing anything, like on the beginning, yes, it was said that if you have any opportunity to do anything, it's the opportunity to learn. And still ask question, why I want to do it? Do you remember this chart? Why I want to learn, what I want to learn, what I want to experience, what I want to gain. Next one, what's the next question? How I can do it, yes. And the last one?
What if?
Yes, what if? So still, on every time you need to ask questions to yourself, to answer, to strengthen your thinking. Because you need to think, why I'm thinking this way? Why not this way? You know, even from the cultural point of view, from religion point of view, you know, when I left, I am Christian, so I left my country, where probably about 98% of people are Christian. But I came here and I saw, you know, so many cultures and religions, and I asked a question to myself, what is the difference between my religion and other religions? And I found out a lot of, you know, this is the base, it's very similar, yes? But it's increased and I had to think about it. What is the difference? What is the same? Why? Why people believe in this way, yes? Why people believe in something else, yes? So every time I use critical thinking, problem solving, of course, where I need to live, how I should live, where my kids should go to school, what kind of school, local, what about if I will move. So I asked a lot of questions, and thanks to it, I solved a lot of problems as well, yes?
Thank you.
Okay?